Where were we? Why did the ping work? Hey, don't be playing the OP again. I already saw it. Alright, we went back to the family drama. I'm excited for this. Crap, I forgot all the voices.
Ridiculous! Is it truly possible that you all believe in Father's legend of the gold? The story about a witch who gave him the gold and so forth, we obviously don't believe. However, there's no mistake about the gold.
Multiple sources have confirmed the fact that Father was in possession of gold bars from an unknown source. Before the Marusu company president died, Father showed him a large amount of gold somewhere. Father stated clearly to him that there were 10 tons worth.
That's just the nonsense of a senile old man. Along with Father, he was just fabricating a story. You can't take it seriously. If that gold didn't exist, we wouldn't have been able to gather so much funding. Before the president died, he was the person whose sincere personality gathered a lot of respect from many in the business world. He wouldn't have become a partner to such a fraud. Aniki, the president of Maruso definitely saw it. 10 tons of it, clearly with his own eyes.
I mean, I believed in the gold. Wait, did I? I mean, I'm not sure. Whenever they were talking about the gold last time, I was like... I didn't have much thoughts about it. I was just gonna sit back and relax. Not everything requires a reaction, you know? But I don't know. I still don't believe in the gold, I think. But we shall see, we shall see. Live chandelier reaction. Hello, welcome to another 5 hours of reading.
Even more, Dad let the president take one ingot at random and have it examined. The result of the examination showed that the 10-kilogram ingot had a purity of 4 nines. He said that the Ushinomiya family crest, the one-winged eagle, was carved into it.
Almost instantly, the Ushinomiya legend of the gold spread amongst the fixers of the business world. Gold from an unknown foundry has a poor rate of conversion to money. Thinking that it was a chance for decisive profits, they accepted it as collateral, and as a result, Father was able to receive the giant loan.
This is the most ridiculous nonsense I've ever heard. How old are you people? Are you still taking that fairy tale you heard as a kid at face value? Where is the proof that this 10 tons of gold even exists? Isn't it just the lies of Father and those who were closest to him? Of course, it's just a story. But still, Aniki, the amount of money that Dad raised required a suitable quantity of collateral. Even if the gold was just a rumor that he must have shown them a treasure of comparable worth is an unmistakable truth, don't you think? It was just a fiction of gold created by our penniless father. He made it seem that non-existent gold actually existed and fooled his sponsors. It was clearly the gamble of a lifetime. Fortunately, his use of those funds proved successful. If the Korean War demands didn't come and the Ushinomiya family had not been restored, Father would probably have been hounded after as the crook of the century.
Okay. Oh, there's just so much. There's so much to consider here. Bro, it's 12 a.m. here. I'll stay on night if I need to, or you might have to. Okay, it's just... What do they know? What do they know? Like, there's like... You can't trust anyone, clearly. When stories like these... Hold up. Hold up. Wait. Hold up. I'm looking at something in the chat. I'm gonna go back to that one GIF that y'all keep posting. Okay, never mind. I think I'm just crazy. It's just I just noticed that Kraus has the little gem pendant as well on his collar. But it's green. And green is the same color as the pendant that Natsuhi has. Beatrice has a red one, and the two servants have purple ones. Interesting. That's all. I just noticed that right now. Anyways, I was saying, you can't trust anyone. Like, what they're saying, is it true, or are they just trying to hide something? Like, does Kraus seriously not believe in the gold, or is he just trying to make them believe that it doesn't exist so he can keep it all to himself? I just, there's too much. We just continue.
In that case, are you saying that the gold never existed and that father made it all up?
You calling him father is a bit weird, but I think that's normal in some places. Like, people like being called father or mother if they're your in-laws. I don't know. Culture stuff.
Of course. Therefore, that after he had become sufficiently successful, the fiction of the gold was nothing but an inconvenience. So father made it up that absurd story about the witch and black magic and made the whole thing seem less believable. In other words, he revealed that the gold was a complete fiction. If he says that he received the gold from a witch, no one would believe that it exists at all, right? He may even have said it for all of your sakes. Nevertheless, some stupid offspring wanted to divide all this non-existent gold when the rest of the inheritance has appeared. Rosa, don't tell me that even you believe this kind of a fabrication.
I can't prove whether or not father really has the gold. However, as one of father's 4 children, I just want to claim my rightful share.
Oh. It seems even Rosa has learned to assert herself. Alright, maybe this is what you all want to say. That I am trying to keep all of the gold to myself.
That's what I'm saying. Nissan, the fact that you obtain a massive amount of funding, if we rule out the possibility that you have been invested in father's personal funds, then there's only one possibility left, right?
Aniki, maybe you have already found the 10 tons of gold bars. It sure looks that way to us. Ridiculous. Something like that never existed in the first place.
Then explain yourself. Embezzlement of father's assets, father's hidden gold. How could you have gathered so much funding if you didn't use one of these?
I also have many friends in the political world and the financial world. I have done nothing more than gain their assistance. And as for that, I have no responsibility to explain it to you. You understand, don't you? There are some topics that can't be talked about. If that's the story you insist on, then fine. But Aniki, Dad doesn't have long. Nobody can assure that he will live to see this day next year. When Dad dies, the inheritance will be passed on immediately. We will all set up impartial lawyers and accountants to inspect the state of Dad's finances.
If at that time the fact that our brother has unjustly interfered with father's money comes to light, you understand, right?
I don't have a clue what you're talking about. You're starting to make me feel as indignant as my wife was. Father's gold is definitely one of father's assets. I understand it's money you can't reveal openly. Even so, the 4 siblings should have an equal right to it. In short, we will also have your financial situation investigated to determine whether or not you are hoarding the gold.
You have a good opportunity right now. Prove the existence of this backup from friends and acquaintances that you mentioned. That way you will be spotless. And we can sportingly apologize for foolishly doubting you. Right, Rosa? Is that right? Kraus-Nissan, you are the one who's avoiding the topic. If you were guiltless, you could just prove that you were in the right, yet you aren't even trying to respond.
However, Aniki, we still have to consider your position here. As Dad's representative, you're probably bearing a larger share of the burden than we are. It wouldn't be fair for the rest of us who have been living terribly relaxed lives until now to complain without taking that into account. Oh, I have spoken ill of one moment and flattered the next. It is quite tiring. Please get to the point. In short, randomly investigating nitpicky aspects of father's wealth seems a pretty darn boorish way to do it. As you said, Kraus-Nissan, you probably got movements of money that are difficult to explain. We understand that, and that's why we've come to consult with you. A mutually beneficial consultation. Consultation? When the inheritance is distributed, you will be rewarded for your years of hard work taking care of Dad by an arrangement that is generous in your favor.
Don't misunderstand us. It's not like we're saying that we will abandon our rights. It's just that when we claim what we deserve, it wouldn't be bad if there was a generous understanding of your position. That's what we mean.
In other words, if you'll accept our conditions, at the time of the division of the inheritance, we won't mind leaving the investigation of Father's financial status to you, Kraus-Nissan.
All of the siblings from Eva downwards suspected that Kraus was trying to steal their father's wealth. In that situation, letting Kraus report on the state of their father's wealth by himself was extremely contradictory and a huge concession. If, as they claim, Kraus was actually invested in money, Kraus would be able to hide that fact. Besides that, it would also be possible for him to control the distribution of the inheritance in a manner favorable to himself. Kraus, also realizing that this sounding too good to be true, couldn't help but feel doubt. What's up with this? Why are they just just explaining what we just read? He had to worry about what they would ask in return for such a compromise.
Oh, after mistrusting me completely, you now say that you're willing to restore your confidence in me as the eldest sibling? And what are you asking for? Just what we deserve as siblings. You aren't the kind of person who would steal Dad's property. However, there is no patron financing you. Considering all that, there is a certain explanation that would satisfy the rest of us.
Nissan, you found the 10 tons of gold, and used that as collateral to gather some funding. Yes, just like Father did in the past, right?
If that's the case, there won't be any funny bits in Father's finances. You've always been a good son looking after Father. Why would we mistrust a person like that? You're being so roundabout I can barely understand you. Say it more clearly and specifically. Our first condition. Aniki, you must admit that you have found Dad's gold. Are you asking me to admit that I possess gold that does not exist?
Our second condition, recognize our rights to a share of the gold and pay it to us.
How foolish. With the non-existent 10 billion yen of gold, that would be 5 billion yen per person. Are you telling me to pay a total of 15 billion yen? Preposterous! Keep listening until the end! We know that much money can just appear out of nowhere. We're not asking you to make an impossible deal. Of course, regarding the portions of the gold, we plan to reward you sufficiently for your hard work until now in our calculations.
Our third condition, the portion of the gold to the one bearing the title of successor to the Ushiromiya main family will be 15%. The remainder will be split fairly between all the siblings. Of course, this also includes you, Kraus-Nissan.
Of the 20 billion, 12.5 billion will go to Aniki. 2.5 billion will go to Eva-Nissan. 2.5 billion will go to me. And 2.5 will go to Rosa. A distribution that makes me so grateful I could cry. So you're saying for the sake of the gold that doesn't exist, I must pay you 7.5 billion.
What's wrong? Nissan, your share is 5 times the size of ours. That's such a good condition, I'll be jumping for joy. They do that a lot, bro. Why do you think this shit is 1 billion words? They do that and people are still confused about the story? We shall see, I guess. But that's a bit odd. I expected with how people say that the story is so confusing that they would explain barely anything.
Our fourth condition. The dividends will be paid out along with the distribution of the inheritance at the time of Dad's death. However, as a deposit, 10% of our portions will be paid to us promptly. The payment must be made before March of next year. What do you think, Kraus-Nissan? This is an ideal chance for you to restore the trust you need to run Father's assets, isn't it? Of course, it might be impossible to get a whole 7 billion before Father dies. However, you can't say that you couldn't manage a deposit of 750 million, right? Paying 700 million and a half a year might be slightly bothersome. But someone like you, who has many friends in the political and business spheres, should be able to manage it.
Normally, I hope to receive the 7.5 billion right now, all at once. But out of concern for your position, if you'll just show your sincerity by delivering 10% of that time being, for the time being, it's alright to let the remainder 90% carry over onto the distribution of the inheritance, right? Surely even you can offer a mere 10% to show your generosity and sincerity. The story is not confusing. People just have skill issue. I see. That's a bit disappointing. I think I was ready to really crack my head. But maybe you are humble bragging. Maybe it's not skill issue. Maybe you're just giga smart. How about that? We shall see.
So the right to investigate the states of Father Sasset is being sold to me for 750 million. Isn't that great? You all sure have grown. I never thought that you all would become capable of offering a deal to me.
Nissan, if you accept these, the rest of us siblings will leave the investigation of Father's assets to you. However, the results of that investigation will be subject to appeal. It's only natural, right? We'll be sad if you adjusted our portions downwards by 7.5 billion.
As a general rule, we wouldn't complain. As long as you do it neatly, it's fine. As long as you don't do anything significantly obvious, we won't plan to aggravate anything. We want the inheritance quickly as much as you do. We don't want it all to get all drowned out and led astray.
Sims is super smart, right, Sims? I play Viper, so I have an excuse to write the special mods. PhD on English required to solve Umineko. Oh gosh.
In the case of an appeal, who would do the second investigation?
That can be you as well. This will probably be the first and last opportunity for our siblings to discuss this. I trust you not to let it come to that. Rosa, you really can talk sometimes. That Kraus was not trusted whatsoever as the... Sorry, it's just these narrations are just really funny. The first thing that comes to mind is that, gosh, no one's gonna understand this, but the one meme that used to go around a while back where someone told a joke and they would ask a Peter Griffin bot to come and explain the joke to them. Thank you, Peter. The Kraus was not trusted whatsoever, as the oldest sibling was by now so obvious that it requires no explanation. Yeah? The formerly tyrannical oldest brother would always abuse his privileges and infringe upon the other sibling's shares. In response to that, the other three, now adults, were for the first time striking back at him by working together. Peter, can you explain Umineko? Thank you, Peter explains.
I'm sorry, but there are further conditions. Our fifth condition.
Oh, jeez.
The decision must take precedence over Father's will.
Whoa.
Later on, we don't want some will to appear and make the decision completely useless. I see that you are very cautious. Then let me ask, if the gold really were found, what would you do? As long as you settle this matter with the corresponding payment, then whether the gold really appears or not makes no difference to us. You can think of our share as an advance payment.
Gives you something to live for. You plan to turn this island into a resort, right? During the construction, you might stumble upon this gold by chance. Eva let out a high-pitched laugh. Kraus watched without even flinching.
Let me add a seventh condition before I accept. In this situation that any sibling other than myself finds the gold, they will immediately turn it over to me.
Yes, of course. We'll guarantee you that. I think okay. This is a really well written scene, I'll be honest. I love this. I love family drama. Because, okay, so what I am understanding is that no one believes in the gold. They all know the obvious fact that Kraus has been doing embezzlement. So basically, they're blackmailing him by saying, "Hey, pay us this much, and we won't, you know, what's the word? Hand you over to the police or whatever." But then there's also this part of the gold, which I believe no one believes in the gold, but it's just like the rest of the siblings are like, you know, on the bright side, if you find the gold, it's all yours, but they don't believe in it. They're just gonna steal money from him by making him pay them, and he's gonna get nothing. Well, he's still getting a lot of the inheritance, right? 50%, but I'm just saying that there's no gold, supposedly, allegedly. They don't believe there's gold. So, to them, they're just giving him nothing. But with this final condition, there's... Kraus, I think, does believe in the gold, because why would he make that condition, right? Or maybe no one, even him, doesn't believe in the gold. He's just, you know, what if it exists? You know, I want it all. I know, hard to explain. I just really like the scene. It's really well written. There's just so many layers to it, and I like it. I comprehend. Ryokishi be like fire writing. Also, Ryokishi repeats the same thing 10 times. That's just Hunter x Hunter as well. The others were forcing Kraus to pay money for some non-existent gold. Okay, they're literally about to explain what I just said. Insignificant details. The others who were forcing Kraus to pay money for non-existent gold would of course not ensure Kraus's portion if they actually found the gold. From the beginning, this deal had been nothing more than a threat directed at Kraus. So just what I said. While the truth might be different, the probability that Kraus was invested in his father's assets was extremely high. When at last Kinso faced death and it came time for the inheritance to be distributed, surely some unpleasant facts would come to light. Can you imagine the Hunter x Hunter narrator but for Umineko? That would be gas. That would be fire. I would love that. We get double the experience now. The situation would likely lead to a fatal wound to Kraus. They had latched onto that weak point and were threatening their brother under the veil of compromise, trying to wring out a huge sum of money. However, they had let one thing slip their minds. The three of them had forgotten that their oldest sibling, who they couldn't defeat unless they banded together, was a very nimble thinker when it came to being crafty. Kraus reluctantly let out a gloating laugh as he spoke to Eva, who could not hide her smile, so certain she was of her victory.
This all sounds marvelous to me. I had been feeling a deep pain in my heart at my estrangement from the rest of you. If by accepting these conditions I could make our sibling relationship friendly once again, I would be quite pleased. I will gladly take you up on your offer. Be happy, Rosa. We have a deal.
Rosa's expression dimmed. When her brothers started talking like this, the conversation would never change for the better. Eva was also sensitive enough to realize this. Therefore, even though Kraus had obediently accepted the deal, she was unable to wipe away the feeling of uncertainty. My, how obedient. Does not like you, Nissan.
That's harsh. You think I have an ulterior motive? Of course I don't. I'm just like all of you.
I'm just like all of you. It felt as though only that part was emphasized. The color of Rudolph's face darkened. I'm really expecting a real big needle drop right now. He's gonna say something. He's gonna say something. I have a plan just like all of you. That's what it sounded like to him. That gave him a sense of urgency. Trying to bring this near-finished discussion to a conclusion, he rushed to wrap it up.
Then we are good. So, Aniki, would you mind signing here? This is a written contract containing the discussion we have been having. There's one for each person. Everyone will sign for the same contents.
Rudolph took 4 written contracts out of his breast pocket that had the details of their deal written on them.
Of course, we'll also add the 7th condition that you proposed straight away. Don't worry. Aniki, will you use a pen?
Rudolph took a fountain pen out of his breast pocket and offered it to Kraus. Kraus made as if to accept it, but then, with a small laugh, drew back his hand without taking it and spoke. Ooh, that's hard.
Actually, in order to make sure this agreement is definitely effective, I would like to propose a single amendment.
When Kraus said that one sentence, All of the siblings felt as if at the same time as though something unknown was creeping up at their backs. That won't do. We've already decided, haven't we? Be quiet and sign it.
Eva, why are you so impatient? Of course I will sign. I'll promise you all of your share of the gold, 7.5 billion yen. I also promise that when father's inheritance is distributed, I will cleanly and neatly liquidate it. However, there is just one point of which I must ask you to compromise. What are you talking about? What points don't you like? The part about promptly paying 10% of each portion, 750 million yen. As you pointed out, my financial situation is not prosperous. While I am guaranteed to definitely collect on various future investments, at this time I have no choice but to admit that I am very poor. In short, I have absolutely no money that I can move around right now. I am incompetent, and my business skills and senses are quite dull. An unfortunate such as me, to use her words, has no power to move 750 million in just half a year.
That can't be true. Are you trying to deceive us with the offhand remarks?
At the time of the division of the inheritance, I will liquidate everything at once. Remove the condition that I must pay you 10% in advance. That is all you have to do to get me to sign.
Why though? He's cooking something. He has something. Something that will break everything. Which basically means he... No, but the contract says that this contract takes precedence over the will. So it's not something that's in the will that would change it. What is he cooking? I couldn't tell you. I have no thoughts. Huh? Weird.
Kraus-Nissan, that 10% is nothing more than a number to measure your sincerity, isn't it? Strictly speaking, we shouldn't even be making you a deal in the first place. We're doing you a big favor by offering you to let things slide for just 10% in good faith money. We explained all that to you, so don't you think rejecting that part damages our trusting relationship a little?
Hideyoshi had a humble expression on his face and had his hands clasped together. But his eyes were not calm at all. Kraus had already seen through the shadow in the depths of those eyes.
Why are you all so hurried? Or are you possibly afraid of something? Rosa, won't you tell at least me, secretly without telling the rest of the siblings?
It's not like I...
Quit it, Aniki. All we're asking is whether you're going to sign or not. Just forget about making any strange deals or anything suspicious. Oh? So I have no margin for negotiation? Do you claim that my position is so weak that we are not in an even relationship?
Shivers began to crawl up Rudolph's back. Ever since he was a child, he had never been able to overcome the height of the wall that separated him from his older brother, and now again he began to feel himself getting sucked in by it, and the long shadow it cast.
Shouldn't deals be made on an even footing? To me, this deal was something to restore the long-lost trust of my younger brother and sisters and deepen the love between us siblings. It has been a cancer in my heart that I wish to resolve quickly. I am very happy that I am able to restore it today. But you too would be very happy to see this deal quickly concluded, wouldn't you?
Kraus stared at each of the siblings. They avoided his gaze with animal-like instinct. Only Hideyoshi was slow avoiding it, so he was caught in Kraus's gaze.
Hideyoshi-Nissan, I hear that your company has been going extremely well recently, hasn't it? You didn't hit any problems getting it listed as a stock, and both its performance and stock prices are constantly growing. I am truly jealous.
My husband's situation surely has nothing to do with this.
However, it is unfortunate that you have neglected your stockholders. It's also horrible that you were unable to solidify your base when you became stock listed. How, before you realized that some bad-natured fellows had brought up a considerable amount of your company's stock, hadn't they? How can you possibly know something like that? The same way as you. If you can collect evidence proving that no one would offer a loan to me, then I can collect evidence on you. Is it really that strange of a thing?
Kraus grinned broadly. This guy. In contrast, Hideyoshi's face was turning obviously pale. Hideyoshi's company was a fast food chain operating company that had started from nothing. Though Hideyoshi's management efforts, performance of the business repeatedly rose and magnified, and ultimately it succeeded in becoming a stock-listed company. The greatest advantage of being in the stockholding system is that by selling stock certificates, a large amount of financing can be gained. That amount is far greater than the actual profits from the business. This made it an extremely effective way to gather the massive funds needed to grow his company even further. However, in exchange for financing the company, the stockholders have certain rights. Namely, the right to observe and guide the company that they have financed in order to raise its profits above their investment. That right is guaranteed to all stockholders, and they sometimes even use it to recognize ineffectual management. It is the right to prevent the money that they have spent financing the company from going to waste by watching the management of the company. However, if they use this right forcefully, they can eject the former management and take over the company. Because the general body of all stockholders has the power to dismiss the management and nominate new management, that right is exercised on a majority decision by the stockholders. And people who hold more stock get to cast more votes. In other words, if some person or group holds a majority of the stock, they can freely chase out the old management and make the president anyone they would like. If they want, it's even possible for them to make themselves president. Many companies, in order to prevent their stock from being bought out by malicious people and their position from being threatened, take some kind of defensive measures, such as having their own employees or people close to them buy a lot of stock certificates in order to prevent a hostile group from securing the majority. However, since Hideyoshi's company had only recently become stock listed, they hadn't had the time to strengthen those defensive measures. No, maybe Hideyoshi himself was so engrossed in the management of his company that he hadn't realized the dangers of being stock listed. It's hard to say whether he should have been viewed as a kind-hearted and skilled manager and immersed in management, or a foolish manager who had his fate... Oh my gosh, excuse me. Who has feet swept out from under him. I just say... Chandelier, my favorite character. Glad they have so much screen time. Live Chandelier reaction. But in any case, there were people out there who would not let him get away with that naivety unscathed. Glad we can see at the bottom right, Umineko no Nakokoro ni. I almost forgot what it's sometimes annoying. It's like the fact that it's white letters and then you put the text above it is a bit hard to read sometimes, but I'm over it. They rapidly brought up Hideyoshi's company's stock and instantly gained a significant amount of power. They then sent out anonymous documents to the stockholders and began to capture the majority. The documents read, "The current management continues to make pointless investments and is ignoring the needs of the stockholders. Let us force the current management to retire, cut the current wasted investments, and let this company be born again as one that gives more back to the stockholders." It is very difficult to make the actual state of a company's management known. They maliciously twisted the figures Hideyoshi had produced from a tiny amount of sleep and a constant concern for his company, and made him lose the trust of the stockholders. Their efforts had almost collected a majority of the stock in the company. At that point, even Hideyoshi noticed and started to buy back the stock, but the stockholders, who realized that the company was undergoing an acquisition maneuver, demanded a ridiculous price for the shares and that Hideyoshi was trying to buy back. They continuously tortured Hideyoshi, who had no leeway in the negotiation of the price. One of the certainties of capitalism is that value will rise when both parties vie for the same thing. And one of the certainties of democracy is that the majority controls everything. So in the end, whoever manages to buy up the most stock wins. So whoever has the most money wins. You can get rid of it. I thought this was analog. But you need to see the game files. Oh, brother. No thanks. I'm cool. I would just keep it. It's good to be reminded what I'm playing. If Hideyoshi could obtain a large sum of money at this critical time, he would be able to avoid losing all of that which he had built up. Therefore, why is Gaster Undertale talking right now? Therefore, more than anything else, he wanted a lot of money right now. What was that? Hello? What was the point of that? Who's talking? Therefore, more than anything else, he wanted a lot of money right now. He couldn't wait for the division of Kinso's inheritance, which may not happen for some time. I love how Unifro does this. How else is that done? Deltarune in 1 second. Gaster just leaped through games just to say that and then left again. And you, Rudolph, you've been in a lot of trouble lately, haven't you? Oh gosh, that's what he's doing? He has dirt on everyone? Ain't no way. What does Rosa have? Rosa, I hear that your child is... No, never mind. It's not her. It's Rudolph, yeah. I forgot who the sickly child belonged to, but it's to Rudolph and, what's her face? In the normal game, that text just shows normally in the text box. Okay, never mind. I like it then. That's cool. That was ominous. I do like that.
They say it's scary overseas, but it seems that's really true. American trials are settled quite emotionally. They won't give a generous judgment to a foreigner. Weren't you advised by your lawyer that making a state settlement with the other party would be more economical in the end?
Kyrie, that's her. That's who I was thinking of. What is he talking about?
It's just troubles at work. It's no big deal. It'll be settled with money.
Kairi quickly recognized that Rudolph's complicated expression meant. Her husband had gotten wrapped up in some kind of trouble without her knowledge and had been suffering alone.
That's right. In this world, anything can be settled with money.
I guess it's fitting that he looks like Saul Goodman. This is a very Saul Goodman move right now, just being a step ahead of everyone already.
After all, I can even buy back the broken bonds between siblings. America is very fussy about the violation of rights, but with money, anything can be settled. Long live capitalism! Although rumors abound that the settlement money may reach several $1 million.
Rudolph had been building a large amount of wealth with a certain type of niche market. However, a niche is a niche. It's definitely not a sunny job. An American corporate giant was trying to accuse Rudolph's company of violating their rights. For various reasons, it was thought that winning the trial was extremely unlikely and Rudolph was being pressed to surrender outright. But even so, there was a way to resolve it with money. If he could only pay that money, though it might be painful, he could still pick himself back up. But if he didn't pay, he'd lose everything. Therefore, more than anything else, he wanted a lot of money right now. I love that. Ain't no way he really has dirt on Rosa. I'm curious about this. We really know nothing about Rosa. I didn't even know she had a company, if she even has company troubles.
Rosa, you're a good and noble little sister. You wouldn't even touch a dangerous money game. However, your soft-hearted nature was your ruin, wasn't it?
Gaster!
I wouldn't think one should agree to become a co-signer so lightly.
That has nothing to do with you, Krasny-san. Rosa uncharacteristically lay bare her emotions and yelled, because she had thought she had kept it a secret. It has to be her husband. Something to do with her husband. As Kras watched, he let slip a muffled laugh. There was nothing to fear. Every one of them, more than anything else, wanted a lot of money right now. In other words, the situation had been reversed. Because only Kraus, who they were threatening, had no urgent need for a large sum of money. Compared to that, the three who were threatening him wanted money quickly, no matter what the cost. Right? Yeah. This is awesome. I love this. But that sucks. They didn't expand on Rosa. There's okay. Rosa and the two mysterious servants are the ones I have my eye on. They're hiding something. We literally don't even know the existence of Rosa's husband. And the two servants are just... There's something with them. There's something fishy. So the longer Kraus postponed this deal, the greater the advantage to him. Kraus was very sly. He had known of their Achilles heel from the beginning. Even so, he had not been certain. Therefore, he had hidden that until the very end, and upon closely and completely examining their attitude, he had struck back.
If I could, I would love to raise some money for my darling brother and sisters in their time of need. Unfortunately, I have nothing on hand. If you have any sponsors in mind that can raise a whole 750 million, I suggest you try there first.
Kraus' elated words were horribly blunt. The other siblings could do nothing more than listen, grinding their teeth. If they could think of a sponsor that convenient, they wouldn't have kept up the charade. They hadn't entered this huge battle specifically because they had exhausted all other options.
If you're still set on relying on your older brother here, I could use my influence to find you sponsors. Oh wait, you already said that I have no influence. Well then, I can't do anything, can I?
This dude is... Oh, okay, I like Kraus. I can forgive that he's ugly. I like him again. That... Ooh, that's good. That's good. I like that. Okay. Kraus and Jessica are my favorite characters in the game so far. The two servants, Eva and Rosa, are whom I have my eye on the most. But they're not my favorites. I just want to see what they're hiding. Kraus's low, gloating laugh began to fill the parlor. The younger siblings who had until now been driving the oldest brother into a corner could do nothing more than grimace and grind their teeth.
Eva.
Don't make me laugh. As if I would put myself in your debt. Don't make me laugh. Crap, I skipped the... I thought she was done talking. No, we're back. Don't make me laugh. Don't make me laugh. If we relied on you, how would you help us?
I told you, didn't I?
He loves it. He loves Kraus. I'm going to assume he's not too much of a fan favorite. Oh, no. He's just not... You're just gloating that I like Umineko. Yeah. Since the start, this game has gotten my attention, that's for sure. But now, I definitely have favorite characters already. I can forgive that he's ugly. He hates ugly people.
I told you, didn't I? All I can do is find other sponsors for you. Of course, I will do my utmost to negotiate so that you can borrow the interest as well. Damn you, taking advantage of us.
Baby, please calm down.
I am calm. I'm extremely cool. You bastard!
Kairi grabbed her husband's hand, but the action made him feel even more pitiful, so Rudolph shook it off. Kraus laughed as though seeing that made him extremely happy. Oh gosh. Here's the thing. To me, it is a fact that they're all blood related to Umineko. There's no way Kinso didn't sleep with Beatrice. There's too many physical connections to Beatrice, like their hair or eye color, right? So they have to be blood related. So whenever it comes to stories like these, where they're blood related to one very important person, I like to see what personality traits they inherited. Not like JoJo. It is very fun. Well, Never mind, I won't spoil. But there's a character who has children later on, and it's very fun how each of the kids inherited a part of this very important character. Like each one was an aspect of it. Like one guy got his cowardice, one son got his intellect, one his ingenuity, all that. You know, you get it. So I very much like to think that Kraus here, being the first son, got a lot from Beatrice, and it would clearly seem that he got the what's the word? The need, the enjoyment, of seeing people dance in the palm of their hands. I don't know sure how to explain it, but like it seems like Kraus. It's, you know, read what's on screen right now. He is enjoying seeing them all get mad at him because he knows that he's winning, and that seems to me like something that Beatrice would also be like. I mean, that's basically a fact with the prologue, how we saw that she was very clearly and possibly enjoying how Kinso was suffering, asking to see her. Because I would like to think that Beatrice was truly in the manor, in that room, seeing him cry out to her, and she was just doing nothing. So, I don't know, I like that. In before we meet Beatrice, and she's just like the sweetest character ever who would never do any harm, but I really doubt that. Ruby's also blood related to Umineko, as you said. Wait, did I say Umineko? I'm sorry. Mrs. Umineko.
If only we truly could find Father's hidden gold at a time like this.
Look at him! Dude, look at him! I love this guy! This is the... Ooh, I love this character. I love Kraus. This guy's such a bastard. I love him.
Then I could split it up into 2.5 billion yen portions for you right away.
Like, oh, that's good. He's using basically their insult against them on them now. Because, as I said, the whole contract about the gold, I am certain no one believes in the gold, right? They were just basically saying, oh, you know, give us tons of money, but, you know, if you find the gold, which totally exists, it's all yours, big brother, right? And now he's saying that to them, like, oh, if only we could find the gold, and yeah, it would be real useful to... Ah, I love this guy. I love this guy. I already know what this message is gonna be. If there are 1,000 Umineko fans, I am one of them. If there are 10 Umineko fans, I am one of them. If there are 1 Umineko fans, I am he. And if there are no Umineko fans, then I am dead. Great message. How sad, how sad, how very sad. Dude, this character, I am in love.
How extremely, totally, terribly, truly, hopelessly sad! Tonight, let us drink together as brothers and sisters and discuss the whereabouts of Father's hidden gold. Solve the riddle of Beatrice's epitaph together, why don't we? With our 4 friendly siblings all together, there is surely no puzzle that can't be solved.
Oh my gosh. If Beatrice isn't this cruel, I'm gonna be so disappointed. On the opposite side, if Beatrice is this cruel, I have found my new favorite character ever. Oh my gosh, that is so good. That was... Ooh, I love.
How interesting. And what are the conditions that they attached?
Wait, what? Before I read on and they explain, I'm assuming this means Kanon was listening the whole time and now he's telling Kinzo. Certainly. Whether or not Kraus-sama actually discovered the gold, he would pay Eva-sama, Rudol-sama, and Rosa-sama a total of 7.5 billion yen for their shares. However, 10% of that would be paid before March.
Kraus, you dunce! That he would have his feet swept from under him by his younger siblings, truly amusing. But it seems they couldn't seal the deal.
Yes. Kraus-sama exposed that Eva-sama and the younger siblings all had an urgent need to get money.
So if he's given something that's simple, he can see through it then. He can't even manage incompetence. What are they doing now?
The conversation has been put on hold for the time being. Now Beatrice-sama's epitaph is being discussed. Alright now. This is probably going to be explained as just he listened up to that point and then came back. But to me it's seeming like he is listening somehow from this room. As if they couldn't get any more strange. There's no way Kanon and Shannon, I think is her name, are not little critter projections from hell by Beatrice or something.
So they are trying to solve the riddle and find out where my gold is hidden.
Yes. Kinzo set down his glasses and snorted.
Will the miracle be fulfilled first, or will those fools expose the gold first? What a sight to behold! If those fools solve my puzzle, at that time I will be completely defeated. They can suck my corpse down to the last fragment of bone. The magnitude of the fools' greed imbues my great magic with its miraculous potential. But if the fulfillment of the miracle comes first, if it comes first, Beatrice will be resurrected again. That smile which I have been chasing half my life will be restored.
Huh? I'm thinking. Why this guy gotta speak in riddles? I'm thinking, let me think, let me cook. Something possible at that time, we completely defeated, they can suck up a course down the nectar is the first green views like great magic with its miraculous potential. I love Chandelier. Okay, I will forget about this by next time, this is to be sure. But weird, very odd. It's just we don't know enough. What is the miracle? Okay, but clearly, if they discover the gold, apparently that will make Kinso lose, and Beatrice will never return. But if they don't find the gold and this so-called miracle comes to pass, Beatrice will be resurrected. Okay. Ah, here we go again.
Oh, the sacred night when the miracle is wagered will come and the devil's game will begin. I will definitely win and will definitely remain alive. You can have the lives of the others. I don't need wealth or honor or assets or gold or anything. I only want to see your smile once more.
Kinso choked, apparently in great pain. Kanon got closer and tried to pat his master's back, but Kinso signaled that he didn't need. Oh, what? Signaled that. Oh, signal. Signaled that he didn't need to.
Do you know why I went to the trouble of exposing the hidden location of the gold so that everyone could see it?
No.
It is because magical power is determined by risk. The greater the number of people who try to discover Beatrice's gold, the greater the danger of that happening. Then assuming that the bet is successful despite those long odds, the magical power will bring about an even grander miracle. In other words, magic is a game. It is not true that the most superior person will become the winner. The winner becomes superior because he is granted magic. Do you understand? Just as a miracle of life is granted precisely because of a victory against defied odds of several 100 million to 1. Is this a little difficult for you to understand?
My apologies. Gambo's magic. I love gambling.
That's fine. It all comes down to this. To the one that solves the mystery of Beatrice's epitaph, I will give all of that which I have built up. Wealth, honor, gold, and succession to the Ushinomiya family headship. Everything that I have established. The right to tackle the riddle is not limited to my children. Even if it were you who succeeded in solving it, that would make you qualified to gain everything.
Yes. However, I couldn't possibly understand such a difficult riddle.
Of course, I made it difficult, but you must also challenge it. That will become the seed with which the miracle of my magic will be summoned. If everyone challenges it and everyone fails, that will be that. However, if the miracles are gathered in the magical powers board, it will happen then! Beatrice will revive! Therefore, you too must challenge it. All must challenge it! And in doing so, they must give strength to my magic. Do you understand?
Yes. I will try. For a long while, Kinso repeatedly muttered to himself, agitated and grabbing onto his head. Kanon stayed where he was alert and unmoving until he was given the next order from his master. So I should put my life savings on black. Thanks, Umineko. Great life lessons by Umineko. Kinso finally realized this.
That is all. Leave me now. There's a bag of sweets on the liquor cabinet. You can take some with you as a reward.
I'm fine. After all, I am furniture.
So the furniture doesn't eat sweets? Indeed. In that case, leave me.
As you ask. Please excuse me. Okay, so... tad bit confused. I just understand that if anyone finds the gold, everything Kinso has been working for is lost, and... well, what Kinso has been working for is to see Beatrice again. So let me rephrase that. If someone finds the gold and solves the riddle, Kinso's dream of seeing Beatrice will be gone forever, and the person who found everything will gain everything. But the more people that try going for the gold is powering the resurrection of Beatrice. That is what I am understanding. Kanon bowed and left the study. As the door was closed, a heavy locking noise resounded. It's such a hot day today. I hate Texas. And I need like 3 hair clips to get my hair up so I don't die of heat stroke. But that was not the sound of Kanon locking the door. It was the door locking automatically. No one could enter without Kinso's permission, and once they left, they could not enter again. It was a mechanism that Kinso, unable to trust his blood relatives, had created to lock himself up in his own study and isolate himself from the outside world. The only ones he could trust now were not the sons who shared his blood, but those servants who called themselves furniture. Yeah, because they're Beatrice! Well, the little... Here, okay, let me cook. These little pendants they're wearing. That's what they are. They're little pendants. Beatrice put them on the ground and a little magic on them, and then the pendants grew up to be the little critters there, Kanon and Shannon. That's why. But I was gonna use that to explain why they call themselves furniture, but I wouldn't call a pendant furniture. Maybe it's some Cinderella stuff. No, that's Cinderella. Beauty and the Beast stuff, where they literally are furniture who are given life, you know? But why the pendants? And also the eye color, I forgot about that. They're... okay. Kanon and Shannon are somehow strongly related to Beatrice. There is no way. They're either strange children, or... It's just, again, I am under the belief that magic is real in this game. But what if it's not? That would be funny, but no. I'm gonna continue to think that magic is real. The thing is, what does the power of Beatrice entail? What can she do? What if her power is just that she can conjure up gold and that's it? Like, we don't know the extent of her power. We don't have the power scalers here yet. What are her feats? Because my brain hurts, my head hurts. I'm thinking too much. I'm thinking too much for things that will be explained in due time, or at least give more clues over. Obviously, like there in the future, we're gonna see what her feats are, right? Because as of now, I could say whatever, and it could be true, right? Because we know nothing. For all I know, every single person doesn't exist, and this is all just an illusion created by Beatrice. Like the literal island is just a mirage island for Pokemon. It just doesn't exist. And stop, Beatrice's feet. That's you. Okay, buddy. Anyways, all this to say, how do we know how many people are real? Because that Beauty and the Beast connection doesn't seem that unplausible anymore. But it's just, why the eye color? Why would they have the same eye color as Beatrice? Eye color is like character design 101 if you want to show something, right? Like, they are children, right? So, it's not out of the question that they would be children of Beatrice, but related to who? Who's the father? I need to keep playing. Shut up, right? Shut up, just shut up. What am I... Because I keep bringing up new thought processes. Then I lose what I was trying to say at first. I was just trying to say that if she's a witch and has fairy tale witch powers, like Snow White, and we're using Disney movies, right? Then she can disguise herself or duplicate herself. So if someone has the same eye color as Beatrice, maybe that's the tell that is Beatrice. Like Kanon and Shannon is literally Beatrice, somehow disguised and duplicated. But like, that's stupid, I think. If it was just her disguise, I would be fine with it. But duplicated, that's a bit much, isn't it? Like, have they been in the same room together? Yes, they have. Like, one of the first scenes we saw was them together. Who hasn't been in the same room together, huh? Literally everyone has been in the same room together because of the dinner scene. Let me cook. Because the dinner scene, that's probably the most important part. Because Kinsa wasn't there. And like, only Kumasawa and Shannon were in the room. The chef only came in when they weren't there. Did the chef even come in? I don't think, no, the chef was there. But I don't remember if he was there always. Nobody told me. I don't remember if he was there always, or if he only showed up when the other two servants left. Has there been a scene where Shannon and Kanon have been seen together by other people? Because I can only remember one time when Shannon was sad about something. I think it was during the tea scene at the start. She was sad and Kanon comforted her. And Kumasawa saw them. But not precisely. She didn't precisely see them. She heard them. So what if Beatrice, whom is Kanon and Shannon, knew that Kumasawa This is too much. Knew that Kumasawa was listening, so she was just... Beatrice was talking to herself in two voices without being seen to trick Kumasawa. Think about that. Okay, let's play the stupid game.
Dr. Nanjo, is something the matter? Ah, Genji-san. Oh, it's just that I had no place in there anymore.
With a bitter laugh, Nanjo turned to face the door to the parlor. It seemed that because of the emotion, Genji understood that Nanjo wanted to say. Oh, not what I meant to do. For the most part, Genji also understood the family situation. It must have made him want to frown knowing that right now in the parlor, that master he served was being discussed so disrespectfully. But it would have been very difficult to gather that from his indifferent expression.
Still, it isn't clear to me. Why did Kinso-san have something so provocative written, I wonder?
Nanjo looked at the portrait of Beatrice. Please read it to me. I swear. No, he actually directed his gaze beneath the portrait of the plate with the epitaph.
I fail to understand the master's thoughts. It seems that they run very deep. For as long as I can remember, whenever Kinso-san played chess, he would always make moves based on some far-sighted reading of the board. He has sometimes even moves that were incomprehensible. For an average person like me, it is impossible to see through whatever it is he's planning. I personally suspect that this may be some kind of will written from the master. He most likely intends to entrust his assets of the family headship to whoever manages to comprehend it.
They are edging you, bro. No, you're joking. You have to be joking. I'm literally not going to trust you. There is no way that's correct. There is no... I will uninstall if that's true. Tell me right now if that's true and I will uninstall. So that's up to you.
Hoping that the danger of some outsider like myself solving it would force the four siblings to work together to solve the riddle. It could be something like that then. Kinso-san may be rudely disparaged his children, but he might also be hoping that the siblings repair their relationship.
If, as Nanjo said, this epitaph had been written to repair the relationship between the siblings, how heartwarming that would be. Keep reading. However, Nanjo and Genji both knew that this was the one thing that could never be the case. Here were the two who had held the longest relationship with Kinso, more trusted than his blood relatives, and even they could not guess at Kinso's true motive. Actually, it's at episode 9. Keep joking like that and no more streams. No more sessions.
The master is always saying that the right to challenge the riddle is granted to everyone, whether they are a member of the family or not. How about you, Dr. Nanjo? No, it's a little too hard to understand for the senile old man. Actually, I wrote this epitaph down in my notebook at one point in time. Night after night I would try to solve it before going to sleep, but... it truly is hard. I believe it shall continue providing me enjoyment for the rest of my days.
Gulp. It's okay. We are making fun of you in the other chat anyways. Alright, buddy. Alright.
What about you, Genji-san? I have nothing more than the furniture that serves the master.
Okay, so they also call themselves furniture. So I think all of them are under some demonic contract to serve the house. But I specifically think that Conan and Shannon are somehow more connected to Beatrice because of their eye color.
Conan assets are useless to me. My, you are a humble person.
I like how they all take the furniture comment like it's just a normal thing to say.
That's probably why Kinso-san trusts you so much. If so, I am honored.
As Nanjo lightly laughed in response, he once again looked at the epitaph.
Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved home of old.
Okay. Is this the avatar? Okay, hold up, wait. Let me prepare myself for it. Let me turn on my neurons, and by that I mean tie my hair up because my hair tie fell. Pulling on my hair while I do this will activate my neurons, so it works. Ow! I caught my finger in the hair tie. Alright.
Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved home of old. No! I skipped it! Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved home of old. You who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key.
That which is written on the epitaph of the portrait of my beloved witch Beatrice is as follows. Okay. I'm scared though. I'm not sure if they're gonna edge me again by cutting it short or something. Let's see. Oh! We're actually reading it. Okay, alright. Write this down, chat. Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved home of old. Okay, I gotta study sweet fish. Wait, no. Okay. Wait, hold up. Okay. You who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. Okay, alright. Okay. Hold up. Wait. Okay. Sweet fish river running through my beloved... Let's read the whole thing first. As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two speak of. There the key to the golden land sleeps. You who laid hand upon the key must journey as follows to the golden land. On the first twilight, sacrifice the 6 chosen by the key. I'm screenshotting. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. On the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. On the fourth twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the fifth twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the sixth twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the seventh twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the 8th twilight, gouge the leg and kill. On the 9th twilight, the witch revives and none shall be left alive. On the 10th twilight, the journey ends and you shall reach the home of the gold. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all of the golden land's gold. One resurrects all of the dead people's souls. One even revives all of the love they possessed. And one for the witch to eternally rest. Rest in peace, my beloved witch, Beatrice. Hard. That was... okay. Alright. Still October 4. Jeez. Alright. I'm thinking. Give me a sec, I'm thinking. Okay. Alright. Okay, alright. Let me spend just a little while looking at this. Through my beloved home of old. spent those rooms. Gosh, it's gonna feel so cool to solve this eventually. They cooked with this. This is so fun. You who laid hand upon the key must journey as follows to the Golden Land. How many are they? I mean, these have to be the 6, right? No, because Rosa. And also, it doesn't have to be literal. Okay, what I can... Okay, oh. It's just... There's no way this could refer to... Crap! Did they... Don't answer, but did they say when the epitaph was written? Because... Is the riddle referencing family members or not, is the question. Because when I hear the look for the shore the two speak of and then tear apart the two who are close, I only think of Shannon and Kanon. And obviously the 6, I think of family, although there's not 6 of them. Those who remain. Here's the thing, is that people are gonna remain. So that already tells us okay, hold up. There's 6 and then 2. So there's a minimum of 10 people that this riddle could be referencing, but there could be more. Obviously, this under the impression that it's referencing people. It could all just be figurative, and there are no people, and those who remain is just some figurative speech for something else. But let's assume that they are people. Minimum, there's 10 people. There's the 6 who will be sacrificed, then the 2 who are close, and then after those 2 who are I read what Sam's just sent. I literally saw this in 1.9 seconds. No, femtoseconds. I didn't even know that's a word. Okay. Alright. As I was saying, minimum of 10 people because 6 are gonna be sacrificed. Then 2 are gonna be teared apart. And after those 8 people are gone, there's still those who remain still. Those as in plural, more than one. So minimum, there's 2 people left. But then we're still killing more things here. Okay, so this is where I'm gonna end it for now. Okay, so possibly 10. But then we have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There's more than the riddle could possibly. The maximum of the riddle, because the maximum of the riddle is 15. If we take the 10 from the top and then the kills at the bottom as others, that's 15 total. But there's 18 people here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 14 if we count Rosa's husband and the daughter of Kairi. So without counting the doctor or the servants, the 15th could be Battler's dead mother? I don't know. There's no way I'm not way off the mark. But for now, I'll end the discussion there. Just like the doctor, I will stay up all night thinking about this. And next stream, I will come with everything solved. Trust on that. But for now, let us keep playing. Well, for now, actually, let me get water. I'll be BRB. I have returned. Apologies. I also got some chips to prepare for some chip and mouth reading. Gosh, no, that's gross. I would just let them talk if I have a chip in my mouth. Nah, I'm gonna read anyways. So on the 10th twilight, the journey shall end. And you shall reach the golden land. You really are diligent, Maria. You did a good job taking notes of all of this. I forget a lot of, so I write things down. Write things down like Mama said. Oh, young book inside her handbag. Maria was always carrying around. And Beatrice's epitaph was copied onto it. Thanks to that, we were all able to challenge the puzzle of the epitaph while here on the beach. For Jessica and the others, this was a puzzle that they had already tried to solve several times, and had already gotten bored with. But it was a first for me, and I was so excited that I couldn't stop. It really tickled my male sense of romance. Also, I did forget about that. Butler hadn't seen the epitaph before, meaning that I was put there in the past 6 years. Meaning that all the... well, no. Most of the family members were already existent. But Canon and Shannon were hired semi-recently, so they couldn't have been part of the riddle. So the two who are close most shouldn't be them, but you know, with witchcraft and all that, maybe you saw the future or some such. Let's start with the first line. Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved home of Ode. Where was grandfather's old home again? I heard that before the war, the Ushiramiya family had a mansion near Odawara. So that said, you'd want to know about a sweet fish river that flows through Odawara, right? Yeah, because the river's the starting point. And then it's God you who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. I don't buy that a bit, by the way. I don't think the river or the downstream is literal. I think that's definitely figurative. Okay, I don't know why I didn't say this when I was trying to figure it out. I just had it in my mind and I just never put it into words. But what I was thinking is that the river refers to their bloodline. And it's just saying, like, follow the bloodline down. So either I'm thinking Battler or maybe one of the younger ones, like Maria or Agnes. So that's what I was thinking. When it said by river, I thought it meant bloodline. But also, calling it beloved is kinda, when this guy Kinso doesn't really like his family. What rivers are in Odawara? It's got to be the one with sweet fish swimming in it. For sweet fish in Odawara, it'll be Hayakawa. It's famous for its mountain stream farming. I hate fish. Maria, you don't understand when you get older. You'll be all licky licky lick, salty roasted sweet fish. Yummy, this guy. Even though we were just 8, I'm getting hungry again. Where did you come from? Shall I bring you some biscuits? Uh-huh. Oh, sorry, that's not what I meant. Don't mind me. Shannon-chan didn't have any afternoon chores for a while. Was faithfully keeping us company. I would have thought that as a servant, accompanying us would force her to take care of us entire route, but it seemed that it wasn't so in her case. To the contrary, it seemed she was having fun joining on in the conversation with people of a similar age. When I asked, she told me she was a live-in worker. So normal... That's so funny, having them together here. Their eye colors. Maria definitely has it more purple, but Battler and Shannon eyes are identical. It's something that they should, like, in real life should be brought up, like, yo, you have the same eye color. So when I asked, she told me she was a live-in worker. So normally the only person close in age to her was Jessica. I get it, that must be pretty awesome. Where's Alright, so I get that the sweet fish-filled river near Odawara is in Hayakawa. It's the Hayakawa. In that case, we have to go down it. Don't you find anything if you head down the Hayakawa? If you follow it downstream, you'll arrive in the ocean. Of course, you reach the mouth of the river. And then the third line of the epitaph was, as you travel down and you will see a village. By the way, since long ago, the mouths of rivers have generally been key points for transport stations, and large cities tend to be built there. There'd be the next checkpoint. That's a pretty good theory. Just like you imagine in ancient times, they were a pretty prosperous old city there. That's where Odawara Castle is. I think I might have gone to Odawara Castle on the field trip once. It really was a wonderful castle. Yeah, I went to Odawara Castle too. Even though I live in a Western style house, it sure is true that Japanese people feel calmer with Japanese style. I think castles are boring. Theme parks are better. I see. Alright. If we find the gold, the Great Butler Sama will generously reserve a whole theme park for a day and let you play all you want. Still, Odawara Castle. The hidden gold of Odawara Castle. Kind of has the right ring to it, don't you think? Nope, I think it's a red herring. Well, we figured out that much when we tried this 2 years ago. The village down the river where the sweet fish swim in Odawara. We figured that it's probably somewhere near Odawara Castle. The problem is the next line. Alright, let's see where your strange reasoning can take you. Just like a green broadly. It was like she was saying that if the puzzle could be solved so easily, she would have found it a long time ago. Damn it. I will definitely find it and keep it all for myself. The fourth line. In that village, look for the shore to speak of. I don't know what it means by the two, but anyway, the shore. What does it mean by the shore? Is there any place near there with in its name? I have heard that this place called Sagakishi in Odawara. Huh? Wow, you sure know a lot. So, what does that mean? Shannon-chan, are you also after the gold and trying to solve the riddle? That makes us rivals. It's not like that, It's not like I'm interested in gold. It's just that George-sama told me about it before. That's because we reached the same conclusion 2 years ago. We even went and laid out a map and looked it up. It was about a 5 km to the north of Odawara Castle. There certainly was a place called Sagakishi there. But after that, we got stuck. The fifth line doesn't say where the key is hidden in that place. Maria-chan, could you read it for us? There the key to the Golden Land sleeps. I read it. Sagakishi is probably large, and there wasn't never any house built there by the Ushiramiya family. With no hint to where the castle is hidden in that large area, we pretty much have to throw in the towel. You're right. And without the key, we can advance to the next line. George Aniki, what kind of place is Sagakishi? The thing is that we'll definitely be stuck on the island, right? Like, there's no way the entirety of the story doesn't take place on the island. I assume. So there's no way we can travel to Odawara or Odawara Castle like Sagakishi, so that's why I don't believe that it's literal. I think it's all figurative. I'm not sure, I've never been there, so I don't really know, but according to the map, it's in the north and it's the mountains. I'm pretty sure it was the base of Mount Asama. Something doesn't sit right with me here. Aren't puzzles for the hiding places of treasure meant to be a bit more exact than this? I get the feeling we're barking up the wrong tree with Sagakishi. Yeah, you're cooking now, that's what I'm saying. I don't know about that, Sagakishi looks suspicious to me. There might be some house there that we don't know about, that grandfather lived in when he was a kid. I mean, the first line did go on about his beloved home of old. Shannon, grandfather has the pouring drinks and stuff for him a lot, right? Haven't you ever made to listen to some stories from the past? The master almost never speaks of the past. However, I've heard him speak of the great Kanto earthquake that almost destroyed the Ushiramiya family as though it had nothing to do with him. So he may have been living far away from the Kanto area. The Ushiramiya main family may have been living in Odawara, but the branch families probably weren't limited to that. Grandfather often called himself a branch of a branch family, and the least connected to the succession, after all. So in other words, the beloved home of old might not even be in Odawara at all. I never even asked about grandfather's old home, and he probably wouldn't give it away if I did. If the so-called beloved home of old isn't referring to the Ushiramiya family roots, then the Odawara theory is wrong from the beginning. Of course, this doesn't remove all possibility that it was Sagakishi. For example, he could have lived in Odawara when he was very young, but then moved far away way later. I don't get what you're talking about. Maria had been completely left out of the conversation, and she now sat puffing out her cheeks in boredom. Well, basically, if we can decide where the start is for our golden game of chutes and ladders, we can't even begin to play. But wait. In the first 5 lines, the thing we're searching for is a key, right? You can enter a door even without a key, just by busting right through it. Can't we just throw away the first 5 lines and start figuring out the rest? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Oh well, we're just killing time anyway. Let's hear the rest of your reasoning. But in the next part it quickly becomes disturbing. Shonan-chan frowned slightly. After looking back at Marianne's notebook to recall what was written there... Alright, I agree. On the first twilight, sacrifice the 6 chosen by the key. It sure does get horrible quickly. On the second twilight, it says to tear apart the 2 who are close. Does that mean to make them break off the romance? Or literally tear them apart? I don't know, but either way it's pretty disgusting. Even if we ignore the meaning of the second line, on the first twilight is 6 people. On the 4th through 8 twilight is 5 people. So at least 11 people must become sacrifices. 11... Wait, what? No, that's not what I counted. Am I stupid? I counted 15. Wrong thing. Six, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. How did he count 11? Oh, because he said to ignore the 2 who are close. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. But I'm counting the 2 who are close as also getting killed. But I didn't think about it that way. So let's count the people now. 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, hold up. But we still need a 12 as the winner. The one who remains. So this could be our 12. So it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and Battler will be the winner, right? But it's most likely that Kinso wants to be the winner. So either way, we have them all there. I'm cooking something. Where are my screenshots? Okay, so we need 6 people to sacrifice right off the bat. We'll leave that for last, but let's look at the other ones. On the second, on the third, okay, on the 4th, gouge the head. So the head could mean Kinso or Kraus. That's, you know, the head of the family. But Kinso should still be alive. So Kinso should be the head, but it could be Kraus. Gouge the chest. Wait. 1, 2, 3. Like, this is already hard, right? Because let's say Kinzo doesn't want to die and he's not the head of the family. But he literally is. No, let's just... Okay, he's the head. So I'm gonna say the chest is Kraus. The stomach will be Eva because of her position. The knee and the leg. So there you go. You have them there. So head, chest, stomach, knee, leg. Meaning that the 6 are Maria, Kairi. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the 6 are just everyone who isn't the direct children of Kinzo. And then the sole survivor is Battler. I mean, that makes sense to me. And I still believe two who are close are Shannon and Kanon. You know what? I'm pretty confident in that. I'm gonna write it down. The 6 chosen by the key. Wait. Oh, wait. Oh my gosh, I got something. I got something that I'm pretty darn confident about. I can't wait to be wrong. I'm not sure what Home of Old means, but okay. What if Beloved Home of Old refers to... This is a stretch, this one doesn't really matter, but refers to Asama, Kinzo's first wife. So her home, which would be the grandparents' house where Battler lived. No. Okay, not the grandparents' house, just... By Beloved Home of Old, it just means the land where Asama lived. So you follow... No. Hold on. The Beloved Home of Old is Beatriz herself. I think he felt so safe with Beatriz that he considers her his home. You know how they say home isn't a physical thing. Home is where love is, or whatever. You know that saying, right? So home is Beatriz. By follow its path downstream, I was right, it means the bloodline. So follow the bloodline down. Like just keep going down the bloodline until you find the village. The village is the grandparents' house of Battler. Look for the shore to speak of. Battler is the shore, and the two who speak of him are the grandparents. Okay, no. The shore isn't Battler. I don't know what the shore is. Just the two who speak of the shore are Battler's grandparents, and the key is Battler himself. Battler is the key. The Golden Land is Ronkenjima, the island we're in right now. So he had to journey to the Golden Land, to the island. And now we're here. So, okay, write this down. The home of Old is Beatriz. The river is the bloodline. You go down it, you will find Battler, and Battler is the key. That's what matters. Everything else I overcomplicated it. But what matters is the home is Beatriz, the river is her bloodline. Follow it down until you find Battler, who is the key, and then he will go to Rokenjima, the Golden Land. Now, we sacrifice the 6 chosen by the key, meaning that Battler's going to choose 6 people to sacrifice. And these 6, I presume, are everyone who is not the direct children of Kinzo. So, we will have here Maria. Wait, let me just look at them. So the 6 who will be sacrificed will be Maria, Kairi, George, Hideyoshi, Jessica, and Natsui. So those will be the 6 people chosen by Butler, aka the key. Those who remain shall tear apart the 2 are close. I believe those will be Shannon and Kanon. The 2 who are close, Shannon and Kanon. Gouge the head and kill. The head, Kinsom. The chest, Kraus. The stomach, Eva. The knee. Why do I always forget his name? Rudolph. The leg, Rosa. It's just too perfect, you know? You just, again, we're following the river downstream, going down the bloodline from head to the leg. It's too perfect not to be the case. And there you have it. That's it. And then after everyone's dead, Beatriz will come back and Butler will get everything. And then... So... one of the treasures would be the gold, obviously. One of the treasures is to bring everyone who has been sacrificed back to life. One revives all of the love they possess. I'm not sure what that means, but I assume their husbands and wives are gonna come back, or it's maybe something more emotional, like they will become a better family after they come back. And one for the witch to eternally rest. One treasure for the witch to eternally rest. No idea what that means. It could mean a lot. It could mean that she's gonna take one person to marry again, so like everything starts all over again. Or it could mean she will literally take one soul for real, which will most likely be Kinso himself. Or it means that one treasure she will keep to herself, like put it to rest. Either way, I'm happy with that. Okay, wrap it up, guys. Okay, sorry. TLDR, the 6 chosen by the... Okay. TLDR, Battler is the key. The 6 chosen by Battler will be Maria, Kairi, George, Hideyoshi, Jessica, and Natsui. The 2 are close will be Shannon and Kanon. The head, Kinso, the chest, Kraus, the stomach, Eva, the knee, Rudolph, the leg, Rosa. The end. We played the game. Whew. Even if we ignore the meaning of the second line, on the first twilight it's 6 people, and on the 4th through 8 twilights it's 5 people, so at least 11 people must become sacrifices. Okay, are we done? Okay, I get it now. I solved it, we are done, we can stop playing now. Umineko's just ranked Deltarune. Solved epitaph, we lost. Wrap it up, Umi Rose. We're done here. Sacrifices to revive Beatrice. I see. Sacrifices to bring back the witch. I guess you can take it that way. As a result, the witch revives in the 9th twilight. The last part is glorious. On the 9th twilight, the witch revives and none shall be left alive. So everyone dies in the end anyway. And then it's got the goal finally being reached on the 10th twilight that follows. Not sure how anyone shall reach the golden land if everyone's dead. It seems to allow for different interpretations as to whether or not the traveler who holds the key would be included in the none shall be left alive part. That's what I was thinking. I think that it doesn't include Butler. But there's something pretty interesting written in the end. The lines about how after reaching the goal, 4 treasures will be given by the witch. One shall be all the gold. The problem is the next one. It says she'll resurrect all the dead people's souls, right? Doesn't it seem like these refers to everyone who died in the earlier lines? If you put it like that, the next one, the part about even reviving the lovely possessed, might be referring to their pair torn apart on the second twilight. Is that really what it means? Is it really referring to love? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's right. And the fourth one refers to the ninth twilight. The fourth treasure is putting the witch revived in the ninth twilight back to sleep again. Ah! Well, that's not quite how I read that at all. I don't know. Maybe George is right, but you know, these guys have been wrong already. I don't know if I can trust them. I don't think that's what it means. If we interpret it favorably, it's hectic with people dying and being broken up, but it's all made up well in the end. The awakened witch once again sleeps, and all that's left is plenty of gold. The witch must have her hands full with all this killing, reviving, breaking up, and returning people. Not to mention waking up and sleeping. Oh well, just when the tale of the hidden gold was getting interesting, as soon as the witch's story is tied in, it quickly gets pretty shady. No kidding. I laughed along with Jessica. After all, a witch was just ridiculous. Of course, once we started laughing like that, Maria, who believed in witches, got angry. I apologize for another recess, but I have finished my water bottle already, and I need another. BRB. I have returned. Witches are awesome. They can do anything with magic. Even kill. Even bring back to life. Even give love and even take it. Can fly in the sky, can become invisible, can even make golden bread out of nothing. Oh no, my bad, it was just a joke. Jessica apologized, sticking out her tongue, but Maria didn't accept it. You gotta know more about my house. Nobody knew those pages tried to prove that witches existed. Aww. Those pages had colored illustrations of witches drawn on them, and conveyed the fantastical image Maria had of witches well. They were not depicted as normal, sinister, crooked-nosed hags flying around on brooms, but as dreamlike people with mysterious powers who could do anything and wore beautiful dresses. Just what you would expect from an imaginative young girl. Dancing through the sky, crossing a rainbow. Dancing around all night with magical teacups and teapots that would never get empty no matter how much you poured out of them. With a flourish of their wands and stars in the sky would become candy and pour down. And flowers that produce sweets would be bud by the roadside. To Maria, witches were the sole thing that could give form to the magical dreams that so captivated her. The last thing enriching her reality, which revealed more and more of its bland nature to her every inch she grew. That's why Maria believed in witches. She didn't want that dream to be insulted. And for that very reason, nor did she want the epitaph which affirmed the existence of witches to be insulted. Because the witch Beatriz is Maria's dream. To Maria-chan, this is not something that points to the hiding place of the gold, but magic to revive the witch. So it was the single bridge between Maria and the witch. Maria was very angry and clung onto George Aniki. Jessica and I scratched our heads and apologized. It might not be possible to smooth things over again like the time she got mad in front of the portrait. Maria didn't want to be easily consoled. As Jessica and I hung our heads, wondering what we could do, Shannon-chan timidly opened her mouth in our place. Maria-sama, did you know? There's a ghost story about Beatriz-sama that has been passed down amongst the servants. Ah, yeah, that's right. Shannon, tell us about it. I don't really know, but it's apparently pretty famous amongst the servants. What is this? A ghost story? Yes. It seems it's a story from before we were born. I also heard it from my mother. Yes. It has been passed down since the mansion was built on the island. The servants of that time whispered that the mansion had two masters, one of the day and one of the night. The tale that Shannon told was just like a typical campfire ghost story. There was a forest with a witch living in it, and inevitably the witch was going to pay the mansion a visit. At some point, the ghost story naturally sprouted up between the servants. Doors and windows were they were sure they shut or locked would be open when they came around to double check. Lights they definitely turned off would be on, and lights they definitely turned on would be off. Things would disappear from where they had been placed. And things would appear when no one had any memory of putting them there. When any of these things happened, the old servants would say that the witch had visited the mansion, invisible, and had played pranks. See? She exists! Beatriz exists! Yeah, she exists. I remember often being unable to find my bag before heading to school. Maria puffed out her chest with an as though she was the final proof that the witch existed. If I said it out loud, Maria would probably be hurt again, so I didn't, but... I mean, you hear that kind of story everywhere. Depending on the place, it might be blamed on fairies or something. It's just that, on this island they call it the witch. Of course you would expect that walking around a vast, elegant mansion at night would be a little unsettling. It's an island devoid of people. Since the mansion is so drafty, walking around in the night on the thunderstorm would certainly be eerie. In addition, some servants also have seen will-o'-the-wisps and glittering butterflies dancing around. Kanan-kun also said he saw something like that when he went patrolling one night. And recently, the servants have been talking about strange footsteps inside the mansion near midnight. We had whispered together that Beatriz-sama from the portrait sometimes makes herself invisible and walks through the mansion. It
happened a long time ago, but I also have heard that those kind of footsteps while patrolling at night.
Huh, that's scary.
But there's nothing to be afraid of, you know? Beatrice-sama is another ruler of this mansion separate from the master, so she won't do anything bad as long as you respect her and don't act oddly afraid.
However, she's fearsome if you don't respect her, right?
Yes. I heard that someone who quit just before I began working after falling down the stairs and receiving a large injury on the back had been speaking badly of Beatrice-sama. Because of that, there was a rumor between the servants that Beatrice-sama's anger had been brought down upon this person. Anger will definitely be brought down on Battler and Jessica.
Oh no! I'm sorry! I don't want her anger brought down upon me! I apologize, Maria. Of course I also apologize to the witch. I'm sorry, Beatrice-sama, please forgive an outsider's nonsense. I apologize as well. I'm sorry, Beatrice-sama. Will the witch be able to forgive us now?
Don't know. Witches are fickle, so they forgive when they forgive and don't when they don't.
That's no good. Maria-chan, isn't there some kind of charm that could prevent Deltarune and Jessica-chan from receiving Beatrice-sama's anger brought down upon them? Maybe something to ward off her anger. But relying on Maria, who was proud of knowing the most about witches, George was trying to revive her self-esteem. I was once again forced to admire his ability to comfort children. After crossing her arms and pondering seriously as to whether there was some charm capable of protecting Jessica and myself from the witch's wrath, Maria began flipping through the pages of her handbook. I forgot, a night hasn't passed, right? We arrived at October 4, and it's still October 4. On the first twilight sacrifice is 6 chosen by the key. Twilight means night, I think. So we can expect something to expect at night, is what I am expecting. But like, I definitely think everything is figurative here. I don't think anyone's actually gonna die. Because there's no way 6 people die on the first night of the game. Especially characters like Maria. They wouldn't kill her that fast. I had thought it was just a simple scribbled diary, but it turned out there were also many pages that looked like they had come from a book on black magic. She was intently comparing several such pages, onto which had been copied what looked like magic circles. It looked like black magic copy wasn't limited to grandfathers alone. Perhaps she had finished her research. Oh, that's a cute sprite! Oh, that's a sprite, so cute! She vigorously closed the notebook with a snap, threw it onto her handbag, and began fishing through her bag's contents. I'm drinking water. It seemed that various jumbled things were in there. For a while, she continued to take out various pieces of junk, although they were probably important magic items to her, and repeatedly throw them back in, saying they were wrong. She looked a little humorous, and was like Santa Claus deliberating over which person to give. Finally, it seemed that she had excavated what she was looking for. With a face unimaginably brighter than the difficult expression she had worn until now, she stuck them out to Jessica and me. As I reached out to grab it, I noticed that it was a very cheap-looking charm. It looked like a bracelet made from a plastic rosary, with a scorpion motif metal attached. I mean, you often find cheap accessories that correspond to the constellations. It felt like a gift that you might win in a crane game at the arcade. It really looked like something like that. There were 2, probably one from me and one for Jessica. However, considering the odd fact that there were 2 of them, they looked like cheap manufactured goods. It was quite hard to think on them as magical items. You're giving these to me and Battler? With these charms, you and Beatrice is no problem. Because a scorpion has the power to block magic. Huh, really? Didn't think scorpions could do that. Battler doesn't believe. I had inflamed Maria's again because I said too much. Maria took out her notebook again and turned and pointed to page after page, going on and about how the scorpion had holy power and had been drawn on magic-repelling magic circles since ancient times. I've heard about that from some of the other younger servants. Something about how the scorpion is drawn on a magic-repelling symbol in sorcery. Huh, really? The scorpion protects against bad magic and disasters.
And an emerald brings peace to the heart. So it has double the effect.
It's true. The scorpion is wrapping around an emerald protecting it. I see, that seems very useful. I really wanted to make fun of this worthless looking charm, but as I watched Maria explaining the charm with all of her heart, I realized that she had prepared them out of consideration for us. It felt as though even if it were just a price from a game center, it would still be beneficial. Material quality isn't what's important about charms. It's the strength of the feelings behind them. I'd like to think I have enough respect to myself not to make fun of those. Okay, thank you. I apologize to Beatrice-sama, but even in the worst case when I'm cursed, I'll be safe now thanks to your charm. Right, Jessica?
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Maria. Wear it on your arm when you want a peaceful heart. If you put it in your wallet, your money won't go down. If you hang it from a doorknob, bad things can't get in. A really useful charm. What an incredible effect. If it is a charm that Maria-sama can recommend with confidence, I am sure it will be reliable. As Shannon-chan tapped her hands together lightly, Maria stuck out her chest. She was completely cheered up again. If it would keep her in this good of a mood, it would probably be worth to let Maria lead the discussion for a while longer. When you think about it, she hadn't shared in our excitement when we talked about the goat's hiding location, so I think she had gotten a little bored. While eating the cookies Kumasawa-san had baked, Jessica and I asked Maria this and that about black magic. Maria happily chatted away in response to our questions. For each one, George Aniki and Shannon-chan would act surprised and agree with everything she said. The color of the clouds in the sky grew progressively heavier, but the cousins really enjoyed communicating freely after 1 year of separation. Did I just feel a drop on my forehead? The typhoon! The typhoon is coming! Huh? You might have. As George Aniki rubbed his forehead, he looked up the sky. Considering the color of the sky and the dampness of the air, raindrops could easily have started falling down at any moment. It also seemed like the wind had gotten a little stronger. I didn't feel a drop. I'm the only one.
Calm down, neither did I. Anyway, I'm sure that it'll rain so much tonight that everyone will get the same amount of raindrops. That's right. Maybe we should head back soon. Shannon-chan looked down at her watch. It may already be well into the evening. Time to get back to work already.
Yes, I enjoyed this time I spent together with you all. Thank you very much.
Tell Kumasawa-san thanks for the cookies. Although, alright everyone, help out with the cleanup. Shannon-chan declined our help, saying that she was a servant's job. But picking up a dropped fork before the waitress has to is like my purpose in life. I am hoping this stream we can see the night, see if any 6 people get sacrificed or not. We folded up the blanket, gathered up the trash, and helped clean everyone up.
The trash is getting away.
Oh no, it isn't. I'll grab it before you.
I'm going to get it.
Maria, don't get your shoes wet, you'll get in trouble. To Maria, chasing after some trash that the strong winds had sent flying was just like an extension of her playtime. By the time we finished cleaning up, the wind had started blowing very strongly. It looked like a good chance to head back.
You all really helped me out. Thank you very much.
It really looks like you're out of time. It's alright if you head back first. George Aniki perceived from her hurried appearance that very little of her free time was left. FaceTime? Genji-san is very rigorous about time. If you weren't at the right place at the right time, he can be very strict. We'll see you later. Do your best with your work.
Yes.
Then, if you'll excuse me. After making a respectful bow, Shannon-chan hurried off in the direction of the rose garden. Okay, let's head back to the guest house. We can watch TV or something and relax a little.
Watch TV. Watch TV.
Then it's settled. Let's all head back and watch TV together. Even Maria, who was still not tired of playing, agreed when she thought about watching TV. We headed up the gentle stairs and returned to the rose garden. The wind had become very strong and roses shook throughout the garden like ripples on water. This might be our last chance to see these beautiful roses. Tonight's typhoon is sure to ruin them. These roses might be done in by tonight's winds. Yeah, I'd say they were lucky though. After all, they got to welcome all of you before the typhoon. A flower will always lose its petals at some point. However, because of that, we can admire them even more when they are in bloom. That's right. Maria burned this image into their eyes. At this moment, they are the best roses of the year. Burn into ice. Right then, Maria suddenly clapped her hands, like she had remembered something. A rose! The typhoon will send it flying. Oh, you mean that unhealthy rose Georgianiki marked with the ribbon? And soon Maria remembered where the rose was. She ran at full speed. The rest of us followed her. Where was it again? I'm sure it was somewhere around here. We searched everywhere around that area, but after all, it was only a single flower amongst all of the roses. Even though we knew it was somewhere close by, it wasn't proving easy to find. The winds that made up the front lines of the typhoon were making the roses throughout the garden undulate. It was almost like it was teasing us by making the location of Maria's rose impossible to find. Maybe it wasn't here. Let's try spreading out a bit in our search. Sounds good. Let's go for strength in numbers. What's up, Maria? As we made to split up and search, Maria tugged on my jacket with an unhappy face. I felt like her intention was to stop us from going to another place. What is it? What happened? My rose is here. It's here. But it's actually not, is it? Maybe it was on the other side of the flower bed. If we all look, we'll find it fast, right? It's here. My rose is here. Look for it. Look for it. Maria stomped her feet in irritation. She was pointing at the spot saying it was definitely there, yet it actually wasn't. And yet if we were to go search elsewhere, she got mad. We were at a loss of what to do. For a while we would have to stay with Maria and pretend to search through the rose thicket. Not here. Not here. Not here. Maybe she was saying that it shouldn't be here, that it should be here, but it isn't. Maria became increasingly ill-tempered. Oh man, Maria's really losing her temper. Maria sometimes starts to really care about really pointless things. If she gets what she wants, that's alright, but you can't find something that isn't there. That's no good. Just as we were starting to despair for a way out of the situation, Maria shouted out loudly. Mama! In the direction she was waving her hand, Auntie Rosa's figure was visible. Maybe she wanted to look at the garden one more time before the typhoon came. Or maybe she had some business at the guest house. Auntie Rosa was coming from the mansion. She quickly noticed her daughter's voice and came over. Oh my, what happened, everyone? Are you looking for something? Look for it! Mama, you look for my rose too! Your rose? We found an unhealthy rose around here and marked it. We tied a candy wrapper or something around it tight. But Maria, if I remember correctly, it was growing right up front and really stood out, didn't it? Unless it grew legs and ran off somewhere, it must have been somewhere else. Are you just remembering it wrong? It is here! It is here! Peddler doesn't believe. For the umpteenth time, will you please stop that nonsense? No one will look for it, so stay quiet. I was a little surprised to see Auntie Rosa, who I had only seen as gentle, get angry. Auntie Rosa began searching as well, so we went along with her for the time being. We were already more than sure that I wasn't around here. Oops! My cat pressed the spacebar. And so Auntie Rosa also realized very quickly that I wasn't here. The rose isn't here. Did you mistake this place for somewhere else? There are so many roses around. That's wrong. It is here. Mama doesn't believe. I do believe you. That's why I'm searching. But it isn't here. But it is here. It is here, but it isn't. Then someone must have ripped it out. Just stop whining like that. Who ripped out my rose? Whom? Give it back! Give it back! Oh gosh. How should I know? Stop it! Stop that whining! Oh! Auntie Rosa slapped Maria's left cheek with her palm. For that instant, Maria was shocked into silence. Of course, it was only for an instant. When Maria realized that her wish was being rejected before it could be fulfilled, she started yelling with an increasingly louder voice. My rose! My rose! Didn't I tell you to stop that weird habit? That's why all of the kids in your class make fun of you. Cut it out! Dude! Once again! Her palm slapped Maria's cheek. This time she didn't go silent. She choked as she started crying and began to bawl in an increasingly louder voice. Auntie Rosa was clearly irritated and lifted her hand once more to try and shut her daughter up. Dude! Auntie Rosa, now she's just a little kid. There's no reason to get so serious. I intended to intervene with a forced smile and my hands clasped together. But the deadly serious look I was thrown by Auntie Rosa taught me quickly that I shouldn't butt in. I'm sorry, would you all return to your room for a little while? Your auntie needs to have a little talk with Maria. Dude, nobody believes in my rose, even though it was here. Look for it. Here, it was here. But it's not here. Then you must be confusing it with somewhere else, mustn't you? It is here. It is definitely here. Then it disappeared. Give it up. Why? Why did my rose disappear? Why? I don't know that. So stop saying. Dude! Auntie Rosa once again raised her hand and overrun by emotions slapped Maria's cheek. It was so strong it knocked Maria over. Hey, Auntie Rosa, even if she is your daughter, you shouldn't be violent like that. I stepped between them and trying to protect Maria, who was still on the ground crying. I know that problems between parent and child are none of my business as an outsider, but I wasn't brought up to just silently observe something like this. Don't you think it's weird, Butler-kun? Do you have any girls in your school that mutter ooh? Well, I am in high school, but for an elementary schooler, I think saying ooh is pretty cute. Cute? Saying ooh is cute! Cute! It seemed that my reckless words had brought Auntie Rosa's wrath upon me. She grabbed my collar with a terrifying expression. Don't you say such nonsense! Do you know how old Maria is? She's 9 years old. She's a 4th grader, you know. She's not a kindergartner. And even so, she still says this nonsense during class. Do you understand? This kid, do you know what they say about her when they bully her? Thanks to this weird habit, she still hasn't made even a single friend. Don't turn your eyes from reality and recklessly call Maria cute. Think much more seriously about this kid's future. Okay, I'm sensing some problems here with some what's the word? Projection. I'm sensing the projection around here from Rosa being the youngest one. There's lots of projection here. I was gonna save it for after the scene was over, but I was already thinking that this whole Rose nonsense is just supposed to mirror what Kinso thinks of Beatrice, right? Beatrice is his Rose, and Beatrice suddenly, out of nowhere, disappeared, and he is very distraught about that. Just like how Maria is very distraught about her Rose disappearing out of nowhere. How the Rose disappeared, I don't know. If it had some larger implication, I don't know. TBH, I just think one of the servants, most likely Kanon, just, ripped the Rose out because it was rotten. It was probably gonna spread out, so they had to take it out. It's probably nothing serious, but I think the implications of what it means are more serious, as in they are trying to mirror Kinso and Beatrice. And obviously here with Rosa, what's happening is that she hates seeing her Maria be acting so childish and not being more mature for her age, because Rosa had to become very mature for her age so she could be on the same level as her siblings, but even now she very much is not on the same level as her siblings, so she is just taking it out on her daughter. Yada yada, tale as old as time. I told you to stop saying that nonsense! Didn't I tell you to stop it? Auntie Rosa struck Maria's quivering head, from which an increasingly unsatisfied voice was rising. I tried to stop her, but she thrust me away. My back collided with George again. A long time ago, Auntie Rosa also thought of it as nothing more than one of Maria-chan's baby words. But she is now midway through elementary school, so the fact that it hasn't been fixed has bothered her a lot recently. It's not like it matters what kind of word she uses. You can't become a proper member of society like that. So even though it's not a pleasant thing to watch, there is a problem between mother and child. Well, my mom's always giving me hell about how I speak too. If you look at it that way, maybe an outsider shouldn't interfere with this, even though it's painful to watch. Butler-kun, didn't you ever have any bad habits as a kid that you couldn't fix and got you in trouble? Well, one or two. My parents' day, I got a huge telling off in front of everyone, and I was so embarrassed I couldn't stand it. Well, then you can understand Maria-chan's feelings right now. I'm sure she doesn't want us to be here right now. Do you understand as well, Jessica-chan? I don't think anyone likes to be seen when they're being punished. Let's go. Let's return to the guest house. Then, after Maria-chan comes back, let's welcome her as if nothing happened. That's probably for the best, isn't it? We thought that George Haneki's point was probably correct, and if we could use the correct sounding reason to justify a retreat from this pitiful scene, that was probably enough for us. Jessica and I nodded as George Haneki and we all left. We called towards Maria that we were going to head to the guest house, but since it didn't seem to reach her ears, we felt guilty and shameless even saying it. In that case, look for yourself as much as you want. Mama doesn't care. Look for it. I'll look for it myself. Look for it even if Mama doesn't care. Have it the other way. After blasting her with those last few words, Rosa spun on her heels and quickly returned to her mansion. Maria probably viewed that as a cold, hurtful gesture, but from Rosa's perspective, it was not her intention. It was because the hand which she had so emotionally struck Maria's cheek with was still numb. That was because if she stayed there screaming, she might again be taken over by her emotions and continued slapping her daughter's cheek over and over. After Rosa left, only Maria was left in the rose garden all alone. The winds began to blow stronger and stronger, and every once in a while, a raindrop would fall from her forehead. However, Maria couldn't leave that place. Not until she found that poor withering rose. It had definitely been there, and yet it wasn't there. Even though she knew the place, and even though this was it wasn't there. Maria, while literally staring at the place it was supposed to be, thought frantically, maybe the angle I'm looking... what have you done? Maybe the angle I'm looking from is wrong. Maybe the height I'm looking from is wrong. While gazing at a single point, Maria repeatedly changed her position and continued to stare. The wind was getting increasingly stronger, but Maria kept on looking for that rose in front of the flower bed. Oh geez, right? That was pretty heavy. 1 second to respond to a DM. And 1 second to eat a single chip of the singular priority. That was a small one. Let me get another one. There you go. Chip has been potato chip of infinite wisdom. I can solve everything now. Oh gosh, Kinso again. Time to destroy my voice. Kinso noticed the sound of the raindrops beating on the window. It had finally started to rain. It had begun later than the weather report had predicted. Kinso, as being summoned by the sound of the rain, approached the window. The sound of the rain is a sound of silence. That sound feels quieter than any silence, and makes humans remember that, in the end, they are alone from when they are born to when they die. There's no way, right?
You're late, Beatrice.
Were those words directed at the rainy sky? No one could be seen in the direction of Kinso's gaze. Okay, no, okay, I get it now. He's saying that because tonight is the start of the Twilights, where the riddle is gonna come into place. So that's what he means. The key has finally arrived at the Golden Land, aka Battler, so the game can begin.
So, shall we begin? A banquet of miracles.
What happens on the first night? Right, on the first night, everyone dies. Ah! Why is control the skip button? I was about to say this song is really good sounding.
So, shall we begin? A banquet of miracles. In this very moment, this island has been cut off from the world. Now there are none who can interrupt my ritual. There are many fitting sacrifices for you. 4 of my children, 3 of their companions, 4 of my grandchildren, me and my guests and my servants. You may eat up as many as you please.
So I'm right. Okay. So far, so good.
The key of fate will select the sacrifices in accordance with the demon's roulette. If that roulette chooses me, even I will become your sacrifice. However, because I will bet on that madness, I will definitely create a grand miracle. Come, devour as you wish. I will become that roulette. Yes, I'll put everything on the line. First, I will return the headship of the Ushidamiya family. Take it!
As Kinso violently opened the window, he ripped the golden ring from his finger and forcefully threw it away. At that moment, thunder resounded, giving the illusion the lightning had accepted the ring.
And when you are resurrected, it will be me who stands there. I will live until the end and watch over you as you awaken. Now come, Beatrice. Welcome to my banquet. In exchange for all that I have created, show me a miracle one final time. Beatrice!
So technically, he's not the head of the house anymore. So the riddle could be wrong. It's still October 4. Let us see. I am still going to assume Kinso is the head of the house. But like, he's the one who wrote it. Why would he say that he's going to be sacrificed first out of the entire body? Weird. Very weird. It's because it doesn't have to be based on the ranking, right? Like on the literal ranking. It could be based on like the table ranking. Because if we take the table into account, Kinso would still be the head, but Natsuhi would be the legs, because Natsuhi was at the very opposite of the table, right? So perhaps Natsuhi is the leg. But then counting there who the stomach and all that is, you know, it doesn't really work because there's the left and the right. So I don't think the table ranking matters. But we shall see. I'm looking at some DMs. 1 second. I'm back. Well, let us see if 6 people get sacrificed tonight. Hopefully, we can see that before I must end stream. A new sticker popped up on top of the TV program we were watching. The disaster report told how municipalities all over were continuously sending out rain, flood, and wave warning. Of course, the harshly beating raindrops in the window were much more convincing. This rain's incredible. Still, when it's raining this hard, it feels like it's going to stop soon. You wish? They said the typhoon's moving slow, so it could be like this all day tomorrow. And even a little weather will be enough to stop the boats. It looks like we won't be able to head out on Sunday after all. I'm glad I was cautious and didn't make any appointments for Monday with the outside world. I guess this means it looks like we'll be skipping school Monday. Living on an island starting to look pretty good. Come to think of it, Jessica, you have to take a boat to school every day, right? What do you do when the boats are closed down? Do you stay home when it rains and show up late when the wind's blowing like King Kamehameha? If the boats don't come, I stay home. Still, it's not as good as it sounds. Most of the time I get ordered to do private study and they're super anal about checking it, so it's not like I can take it easy. During the rainy season when the weather stays bad for a long time, you must be forced to miss a bunch of days in a row? Yep, that happens. But then every single day I'll get called from my homeroom teacher sorely instructing me on what to study and what to turn in. She can't slack off as easily as you think in Battler-kun. She has to follow the rules for people that travel to school by boat and get a good amount of studying done. It'd actually be easier just to go to school. In my own room I get distracted and can't concentrate. Plus being able to do nothing but workouts for several days straight is really mentally stressful. Workbooks. When I'm ready for college, I really just want to go someplace with dorms and say goodbye and good riddance to this pain-in-the-ass island. Huh. So by the way, what do you think when the weather is good in the morning, but then gets so bad on your way home that boats are closed? Do you spend the night at school? That is a good question. That actually happens a lot. So they have some logins there for people who can't go back to the island. I stay over there. Sometimes when it gets really bad, I can't go back home for a few days at a time. If you look at it from the perspective of those people who have to go to school every day on a train packed to over 200% capacity, it's easy to irresponsibly think that going to school on a boat seems pretty interesting and fun. But it's actually hard work in a lot of ways. Inconsiderate tourists say the kind of thing all the time. I've had enough of island life. I want to finish high school quick and leave this island behind. There must have been full of boarding schools you could have gone to. Why'd you go and choose to stay at the school on Ichima? Probably not her choice, I bet. That's what I wanted from the very beginning. It's mom. She's always going on and on about how I need to learn manners and discipline as a successors to the head. In the end, I got stuck with a high school close to home. Man, I hate this island. I just want to go live in the city. A city where it doesn't matter if rain or even spears fall from the sky, because as long as you stick some casual clothes and sandals on, you can still get to the shop in less than 5 minutes. Hold on just a bit more. It's only a little longer until you graduate high school, right? Just can't wait a little longer. Jessica stretched out and reclined on the sofa. Maybe because now was a bad time slot, there weren't any interesting programs on, and we had nothing to do but languidly kill time until we were called for dinner. Is Maria still outside in the pouring rain? Hmm. I'm thinking something. I was thinking maybe the head, the body, the stomach, and all that. I'm referring to the children of Kinso, but the grandchildren. That would make Jessica the head, George the stomach, Maria the legs. But who would be the knee? Because Battler would be the knee, but there's no way he's gonna die, right? And there's Agnes, who isn't here. And Kairi is the only one with, a sibling here. Right in the position where the knees would be. That's a bit too convenient, isn't it? But, Agnes isn't here. Oh my gosh. Let me cook. Okay, Sorry, I'm laughing that my cat is sleeping in the worst position ever. Anyways, so let's say the Twilights are the grandchildren and not the direct children. Meaning Jessica's the head, Hideyoshi is the stomach, Agnes would be the knee, and Maria the legs. I would find that a lot more satisfying because, when I was making the other thing, I was just, trying to guess what it meant, not thinking about satisfaction. But I think killing the adults first is just more satisfying, right? Because, who cares about them? If you want angst, you want the kids to live longer. So, you're like, no, think of their future. Like, leaving Maria for last? That's gonna hurt a lot, right? It's gonna be like, it's just gonna be Battler and Maria left all alone. And Battler's gonna have to kill Maria or something. That's gonna hurt, that's real dark. Something I feel like they would do. So I think it is more satisfying if the grandchildren are the ones who get killed in the Twilight. But let me cook here. One might say, well, what about Agnes? She's not here. But they made a point that Agnes is sick. So, what if on that Twilight where the knee is supposed to die, no one dies? So they're like, yo, what's up? What's going on? And then, like, some news report, we learn Agnes Ushinomiya has sadly passed away from her sickness. And there you have it. That's the one who died on the Twilight, the knee. Let me cook. I think I'm cooking. I like that. I think that's very satisfying. Let me write that down. Let me put them next to the other one. So, the head, Kinso or Jessica. The chest. Wait, crap! I'm missing one. I forgot about the chest. I was only thinking about the stomach. No! I fell off. Oh, crap. Everything fell apart. Everything's gone. Because we can't count Battler. He cannot die. Well, what if it's not literally, right? What if it's not literal? What if we're not actually killing them? We're just taking something from them. So Battler could be affected. Crap. There's another child we don't know of. I'm cooked. I have cooked nothing. Bro is onto nothing. I'll write it down anyway, just in case. So I guess the chest is also Jessica. Let's say that the head is still Kinso. So either way, Kinso goes out first. That's rough, buddy. So the chest, Jessica. The stomach, Georgie. The knee, Agnes, or whatever her name is, Agni. In the leg, Maria. Whatever, it's not satisfying anymore. Everything's cooked, everything's worthless. I'm the stupidest person ever. Hair in my mouth. The thing is that your super hair. Aha, I got it. Okay, hair out of my mouth. Sorry about that. The thing is that they're servants too. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 twilights. Well, not 5 twilights, but 5 sacrificial twilights. And we have 5 servants. So it could also be them. And it's like read the description there. Head servant. So he could be the head. She's the chest, the stomach, the legs. I mean, the knee and the legs. So it could also be the servants. There's too many options, dude. And if anything, they fit even more because that's kind of more satisfying, isn't it? It fits more. Okay, I'll also write them down just in case. This game sucks. This is the worst game ever made. Okay, the head, Genji. The chest, Shannon. The stomach, Kanan. The knee, what's his name? Goda. And the legs, Kumasawa. Sucks bollocks, dude. I thought I was onto something. You know, I don't think it ever fully occurred to me how long this game truly is. So realizing I've done couple hours long streams of this and still hasn't reached dinner yet. Okay, now hold on. Right. Don't blame it on the game. Blame it on me. I have spent most of the stream yapping over actually reading. So if I was a normal person, I would have beaten the game already. He hates it. I do. This sucks caucus and bollocks, dude. I'm so mad. Why is there so many options? I skipped the dialogue by accident. Maybe because now it's a bad time slot. Never mind, I did not skip dialogue. In the end, Maria had now returned to the cousin's room. I am praying just to have some time of the game where there's no big lore revelations, nothing that just throws my thoughts completely out of the loop so I can just read for a little while without cranking my head over something meaningless just to be wrong anyways. Can I get that? Is that too much to ask? She had probably been brought back to the mansion by Auntie Rosa. It had to be pretty boring for Maria all by herself while the adults were having a confusing conversation. Buddy, she's dead. You know, that's true. Whoever dies in the first Twilight, whoever the six will tell us who. Sorry, not the Twilight. Whoever dies, whoever gets sacrificed by the six chosen, will tell us who will be the five that will be gouged out in the Twilights, right? So if one of the direct children of Kinsel dies, then we know it's either the servants or the grandchildren who are the body. If one of the grandchildren dies, then we know it's either the servants or the direct children who are the body. And you get the point. Can I please play the game? Beatrice sitting there waiting for you to finally progress the story. How do we tell them, chat? I'll never be free. Dude, I'm not beating this game ever. God, I just need to turn on my brain. Eventually I'm gonna get tired. And I'm just gonna play. And stop thinking. Eventually cars stop thinking. No one's gonna understand that because none of you read JoJo because you hate JoJo. We thought we might head over to the mansion to see her, but after all, there was this lousy weather. And there wasn't much time until dinner, so we stayed where we were. I have changed my seating position like 10 times over the course of the stream. At that time, we heard the sound of a humble knock. Jessica answered. Hello! The preparation for dinner are complete. Please come to the mansion. It was Kanunkun's voice. He went to all the trouble of coming from the mansion in this rain to call us over. Well, how else are we supposed to know that the dinner is ready? I see now. Couldn't you just called us on the phone? Oh well, maybe sometimes part of the servant's duty to go against common sense. Just when I was getting hungry. Let's go. George and Nikki turned off the television and stood up. My stomach's been growling for ages. Main family dinners were always fancy as hell every time. And didn't Goda-san say it was capsteak or something? Oh, I can't wait. They get even more fabulous on the day of the family's conference. Even I'm looking forward to it. Let's go, let's go. Also, I just... The time... If you couldn't tell, the longer I read, the more illiterate I become, and the more I stumble on my words. So not only that, but I'm also quite tired because of the time. It is 2 a.m. I still want to keep playing because I am engrossed, but expect me to slur over a lot of my words from now on. I feel that sitting position thing. I cycled through all possible sitting positions maybe 1,000 times over the course of this entire game. Yeah. I mean, thank goodness my mouse is wireless. So I can just hold it like a little remote and click it from wherever my hand position is at. As we left the room, Kanun bowed silently and respectfully. Alright, let's go. Is the rain nasty out there? Yes. Please take care not to get your garments wet. After seeing the three of us out, Kanun peered into the empty room. Is Maria-sama not with you? No. Isn't she with Auntie Rosa? They killed the child first, bro. That's crazy. And it's all Rosa's fault. How do you feel about that? Rosa, lying on a sofa in the empty parlor, had fallen asleep at some point. She was bearing a burden of her shoulders that the children could never even imagine. Therefore, when she let herself relax, that exhaustion quickly led her into the world of sleep. Realizing this, Genji brought a blanket over to her. When he tried to spread it over, her eyes snapped open as though she had received an electric shock. Ah! Oh, it's you, Genji-san. Thank you. When she realized that the thing that had touched her was just a blanket, and that Genji had been considerately giving it to her, she let out a sigh of relief.
Did I wake you?
My sincere apologies. No, it's okay. I hadn't planned on sleeping in the first place. What time is it now? As for the time, Genji checked the pocket watch which he took out of his chest pocket.
It is slightly after 6 o'clock.
What? Dinner at 6? I guess that's kind of normal. don't know why that's so odd to me. Rosa gave her head a little shake as she realized that even though it had felt like she had slept for a long time, not much time had actually passed. Even though she didn't feel rested at all, the drowsiness that warped around her felt very deep. Thank you. I'll be fine without the blanket. I mustn't sleep at such strange time. My sense of time has been completely thrown off. The rain has finally come down, I see. Rosa finally realized that the peaceful sound that had put her to sleep was actually the rain that had started falling. Also that, I think. This whole time I've been hearing the sound of raindrops, and they always make me sleepy. And I just skipped stuff. The rain is blowing hard too. Perhaps the typhoon is finally upon us. This is my joke, not Sem's? What is he talking about, chat? It's odd because you don't think to eat food till midnight. I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, that is why. I am going to eat my so-called dinner after stream over. That is what they were saying on television. The typhoon is moving slowly, as they expect it to be like this all throughout tomorrow. I see. That wonderful rose garden must have been my last chance to see it. From the window where she could see, the rose garden was completely blurred out by the wind and the rain. Our messages got deleted because of auto-mod. We were getting buried. No! I wish I could disable auto-mod. That sucks. I will never learn the funny now. Maria. That's right! Where's Maria? I have not seen her. I would think she has returned to the guest house. Rosa knew her daughter's nature well, and a chill ran up her back. Maria was stupidly straightforward to the point that stupidly could be repeated 7 times. And if she was ordered to find something that didn't exist, she would look forever and ever. Even if rain was pouring down. No. The cousins left earlier, so Maria was alone. Unless someone told her to stop, she would stay there. Even spears fell down from the skies, without even opening an umbrella. Oh, what have I done? Losing control of my emotions. As her mother, she had known about Maria's foolish straightforwardness better than anyone, yet she had once again lost control of her emotions and done such a horrible thing. Maria! Rosa pushed Genji away and ran down the hallway. Good. The outside really looked like a typhoon and was pouring down magnificently. Maybe because some of the figure of the terrain, the winds were not as strong as a typhoon, so an umbrella wouldn't be torn out of one's hands. Even so, it was enough to call it a storm. There was no time to admire the roses being soaked by the rain. Anyway, I'm getting pretty worried about Maria. You don't think she's still rebelliously searching for that rose alone, do you? I wonder. Surely not with this much rain. It's what I like to think, but Maria-chan is sometimes really stubborn and foolishly simple. We hadn't worried much, thinking that Auntie Rosa had taken her back to the mansion. However, it was concerning that Kanon-kun had thought that Maria was here when he first was here when he came from the mansion to call us. I did not see her in the mansion, so I had assumed that she was here, since Rosa-sama was taking a nap. You didn't see her on your way over here? My apologies. I opened my umbrella and ran as fast as I could, so I did not pay much attention. If he had cut through the rose garden to the shortest line between the mansion and the guest house, then he would have missed the place where Maria had been looking for her rose by a little. Rosa earlier. Rosa now. I mean, that's all parents, isn't it? I'm so tired, but I can't stop now, dude. I'm gonna be reading everything with a drunken man's words here, but I must continue. I need to know if she's dead. And it was raining this hard too. There was a good chance that Kanun could have failed to notice her. Enough debating around here. I'll be faster to just look it out directly. Anaki, you up for a little race? So you think you can beat me? I know that you had 6 years to grow. Alright, let's find out. Let's go. So I put the block message season Sims. On the 6.5 twilight. Get this guy out of here. Get him out. Get him out. I get him out. For Phoenix who cannot see it. On the 6.5 twilight, gouge the cock and kill. Alright, buddy. You know, maybe Automod was good on that one. Very important to the story in your plate. Jojo, Nikki, and I flew out into the rain. Jessica and Kanun followed us. Maria! If you're here, answer me! Maria! It's Auntie Rosa. Auntie! When Jordan and Nikki called back, Auntie Rosa flew at him in what almost amounted to attack him. Yeah, Sims, I gotta agree with that emote there. That's a -5. That's a -5. Where's Maria? Isn't she with you? No, we haven't seen Maria since then. It's okay, Sims. I think it's a plus too. Maria! 6 years ago, Maria had been 3 years old. She had been a cute and pure kid who would just accept whatever anyone said. But 6 years have passed since then. She was 9 now, and experiencing the good and bad parts of life should have taught her something. And yet, she's still just as innocent and pure as she used to be. Maria! As I circled the rose bed, something white unexpectedly turned to face me. It was a white umbrella. Maria holding a white umbrella was... She's alive! I really thought, oh, I'm so relieved. Oh my goodness gracious. Oof, I can sleep now. Alright, chat, good night, we're done here. Maria holding a white umbrella was crouching, still searching for that rose. Yay! Her face, which had turned bright red from her crying her eyes out, was dirted with water and mud. It was a truly beautiful sight. You idiots! Are you still looking? Can't find it. My rose. Can't find it. Maria had probably been here since the rain had started pouring down. It looked like her shoulders were freezing. She looked tired to the bone, but fortunately, since she was holding an umbrella, she was not completely soaked. It was probably an umbrella from the handbag that Maria was always walking around with. Thank goodness, that's what I'm saying. Seriously, thank goodness. Butlerkin! Thank goodness you found her. Maria! I'm sorry, I'm so sorry! Auntie Rosa threw down her umbrella away and hugged Maria. It's not here. My rose isn't here. Mama will help you look for it with you later, okay? So let's just let it go for today, okay? Let it go for today. It looked like Maria still wasn't able to accept it, but she no longer had enough energy left to resist. Jessica and Kanun caught up with us. I'll have a towel ready in the mansion immediately. Maria, were you here the whole time? I'm sorry for being such a bad mother. Auntie Rosa, why don't we head back to the mansion for the time being? Maria-chan will catch a cold like this. You're right. Maria, let's go. If we don't get you cleaned up, grandfather will get mad at you. I'm hungry. It's already time to eat. He did a good job searching. Once the weather gets better, we'll look for it together. We couldn't stay in the rain forever. We took Maria with us as we headed back to the mansion. I'm so tired, but I want to see the dinner. Maria apparently wasn't as weak as I had thought. When she remembered that dinner was calf steak, she started chanting, I'm hungry, and returned to her usual healthy self. Auntie Rosa didn't chide Maria on her So that's it. You had an umbrella. You sure are good at packing the right stuff. I didn't bring an umbrella. The witch gave it to me. Just watch. What? Then how did you get that white umbrella you're holding? Borrowed. It seemed that some caring person had brought her an umbrella. A normal girl would look for shelter once it started raining, but there was no way Maria's stubbornness would be broken by something like that. So maybe that person gave up recommending that she find shelter and at least brought her an umbrella for her. Really? I will have to thank them. Who was it? Here it is. Chat, are you ready? Here it is. Beatrice. Yeah! Yeah! That, ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. I'm a big fan right there, I tell you what. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Ooh, okay, alright. What does this mean? Huh? It could just mean that, you know, he loves it. It's just back and forth. Okay. It's just, okay, let's see. What does this mean? Why would she care for... I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm too tired. The only thing I could say right now is that Kanun is the only one who passed by. And I am under the impression that Kanon and Shannon are very connected to Beatrice because of their eye color. So I wouldn't be surprised if this so-called Beatrice passed by, gave her an umbrella, and then walked to the guest house, became Kanun, and that's how we saw Kanun. The time that Maria mentioned very happily was that of the island's witch. Rosa took a deep breath and asked again, trying to avoid hurting Maria's feelings now that she was happy. Really? That's nice. So, who was it? The person who brought you that umbrella? Beatrice! Maria, who quickly picked up that her mother didn't believe her, made an angry face once again. So Rosa stopped pursuing the subject. It looked like it would be faster to ask the person who had lent Maria the umbrella during dinner rather than ask Maria herself. I you know. I can't do Kinsa right now. I'm so tired.
Father, please at least join us for dinner. It won't be a family conference like this.
Along with a dual pounding on the door, the sound of Krause's entreaty could be heard. However, that voice seemed to harbor a sense of resignation that a sound would not reach his intended ears.
Kinzo-san, why don't you at least go out for dinner? Haven't all of your children gathered here to see your face? Silence, Nanja! No, this mission won't work. One more short.
Apparently Kinzo was completely focused on the final battle of this long-lasting chess match with Nanja. His brow wrinkled as he continued to glare at the game board through his spectacles. Krause's voice didn't reach his ears.
Kinzo-san, I am also so hungry. Why don't you go down and eat? In that case, you can go yourself. Let me consider this next move for a while longer. We are going to finish it tonight. Otherwise, it looks like this match will never entirely be so.
Nanja stood from his seat, hoping that this would prompt Kinzo to do the same, but Kinzo's eyes never left this chessboard. He knew well that Kinzo always displayed a blind concentration when it came to chess, but he had never seen Kinzo as focused as he was now. He was acting almost as though, just as he said, if the game wasn't finished tonight, there would never be another chance for them to continue their contest. Further attempts to persistently call him would surely not reach his heart. Nanja gave up and headed to the door that Krause is still banging on. The door to the study opened. Krause took a step back. Surely Kinzo hadn't actually come out. But it was Nanja who stood at the door. Krause breathed a sign of relief.
Dr. Nanja. His father... I'm sorry, I couldn't be of service. Kinzo-san's world is nothing but his room now.
Nanja shook his head with a completely defeated expression. A new thought has come to me. I basically already said this with Kanon and Shannon, right? I will be, from now on, I will be under the impression that what we see, even that cannot be trusted. I think if we see two sprites together, like right now, we cannot trust that they are actually there. It could just be a visualization of voices without bodies. Which is to say, earlier I said that Kumasawa heard Shannon and Kanon talking, but she didn't see them together. She only heard them together. So if they are one person, I just realized this is just Elden Ring all over again. This is the one thing I go towards every time. I just think that everyone is one person anyways. If they are one person, it could just be this one person making both voices at once. And just because it's a game, we see both sprites together. But it doesn't mean that there's two bodies in that room. That, which is to say, I think it's very important that Kinso hasn't come out of his room. And that no one has seen Kinso. Literally no one except the servants. And Dr. Nanjo. This is that moment of we haven't seen Bruce Wayne and Batman in the same room together. We haven't seen Nanjo and Kinso in the same room together. The player has. But I don't know if we can trust the sprites. So no, wait. Because like the first time where Kraus was No, I think this is futile. This is futile. Because the first time where we saw Kraus trying to get Kinso out of his room for breakfast, Nanjo was outside, right? He was outside the room also trying to talk, and Genji was the one who was inside. Oh, was it the opposite? God! This is why I do such little progress. Because now I'm gonna go back in my own stream to look at something. Okay, last time with Kraus was asking for Kinso to come out. Nanjo was outside with Kraus. Genji was also outside, and then Genji went inside. So I think this is futile. They're okay. The only person they haven't seen is Kinso. Like, for what end? It's just, no, it's all pointless. It's all pointless. Yap session over, but let me think. I got nothing for now. But for now, I still firm believer that we cannot trust the sprites. Even if I cannot find a way to connect it to Kinso yet. But I believe we cannot trust the sprites. Kinso plays chess the way I imagine you play chess. What does that mean? Taking 50 years to realize what move to make? How do we know Tewawa Otewa and Rui Tomato aren't the same person? We haven't seen them in the same room at once. That's true. Yeah. Well, bro, reach the dinner tonight. Clearly not. Bro's still stuck in the Battler booms. Alright, enough. Let's play the game. I'm so tired. I'm gonna pass out. I need chips. I need the chips of energy. Normal. Let's finish the whole bag before we continue. I hope my crunches are audible. This so-called Phoenix is wrong. I cannot sleep. I need to know what happens. Okay, well, when you make it on, when it's just about me, I say, I don't care about her. Well, once you say, man, I want to sleep, but I can't because of stream, that makes me want to end it. Also, Ruby agrees. Okay, alright, message received. I will finish this scene right here. The moment the scenery changes, stream over. Lunge shook his head with a completely defeated expression. Kraus raised his fist once more and banged on the door, shouting,
Father, can you hear me? We are heading down now, but anytime you feel like it, please join us. All of your children are waiting for you.
The voice was very loud and the door was being noisily pounded on. There was no way that it wouldn't reach Kinsel's ears. It was reaching him. However, he was ignoring it anyway. However, unlike the time he was being called down for lunch, he did not get into a rage. Kinsel was now simply calm at heart, and it was almost as though he had attained peace by turning himself over to fate.
Alright. I am not interested in dinner nor in my son's faces. I only leave here when Beltris is resurrected, or when I am chosen as a sacrifice for the king. The demon's roulette has already started spitting. What meaning does dinner have at this point?
As though the painfully loud banging on the door had completely failed to enter his hearing, Kinsu, in a state of total peace, silently thought about this next chess move. And we're done. That's it. We're done. That's it. Scenery change. It's cooked. It is over. Gosh. 3 hours of stream for like 30 minutes of actual game time. As is my wont. The jury has decided bed shall be your prison tonight. It is indeed. It is officially over. Gone forever. Never again will I play the game. 10 pages of save is crazy. 46. We just look over characters again. No new thoughts here. My streamer, I'm cooked. Good, very good. What does chapter mean? Wait, what? Wait, you can go far this back? Why can I Oh, brother. That's crazy! You can just read the entirety of the game. Most logs, like, end somewhere early. But you can just reread literally everything. That's crazy. And you can switch chat. Insane. Okay. Biggest yapper ever, indeed. I will never finish this game. Why do I even always start super long games. I am the worst person to play long games. Elden Ring, it's over. It's never getting finished either. There's a lot of options. That's why you need a lot of saves. Can we on the Rosa dating path? I thoroughly do not believe this game has any options. There's no way. But if there was... Never mind, I'm ending the statement there. Good night, everyone. I am out. Farewell to all. Good night. Dreadfully earned night. Thank you for watching. It means a lot. Fun stream. I will pass out now. Fare thee all well. Farewell. Bye bye. Ciao. Bye.